And welcome to the Strength Hammer Podcast, episode 143. That's right. As I crack open a nice frosty peach strawberry
Beer.
LaCroix.
Okay. We should do
I had
a
beer last
beer
night.
podcast.
We should. Yeah, I had beer last night, so I'm good today. I'm good today.
That's fair.
That was really good. That's a good flavor. Strawberry peach.
Mm.
Oh, I like it.
I don't
Okay.
know if I like LaCroix. I think I prefer any diet soda.
I learned I like some flavors of LaCroix.
Mm.
But hey, anyway,
Yeah.
Alex, how you doing?
I'm good. It's beautiful and sunny, a little hot,
It's very hot.
but honestly, I'm not gonna complain because it's a beautiful and sunny day.
You should maybe turn your mic a little higher or talk into it.
How about now?
There you go. Yeah, if you're talking
Okay.
into your mic, it picks it up. It's great. There we go. Maybe that was the problem earlier.
Maybe. I mean, it's right in front of my face.
You were talking at the ceiling. If you're watching on if you were
Charles,
watching on the video,
Charles, if
would
I
you
do
guys
this, you
please
can yell at
comment
me.
below if Alex was talking to the
Charles,
ceiling?
if I do this, you can yell at me. I talk straight in your face.
You were
The mic
doing
is right here.
this. All right. Anyway. I'm glad you're doing well. It is very hot. But the most important question is, despite the heat, has the lawn been cut?
Yeah, it has 2 lawns actually for me, and I think
Does.
also 2 lawns for you because you help out your parents as well,
No,
right?
actually, no. They've been good. They got their own.
Oh, okay.
But a
Never
garden
mind.
for me. But let me boom. Look at this. I think
Hey,
there's a nice little shed, nice little American flag, blue sky, fresh cut lawn.
USA, USA.
What more could you ask for, Alex?
No, it was beautiful. And when I cut my lawn,
Mm-hmm.
the weather couldn't decide if it was going to rain or not.
Ah,
So it was actually cloudy and not as sunny, at least partially. And you get that little cool breeze once in a while. So wasn't as bad as when I cut for my parents. After I think I drank 2 bottles of water and a Diet Coke while I was doing it, and I
little
didn't have to pee at all.
little bit more a slight incline going on at your parents' house. I assume the second picture with you.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
it's more work. Plus a tree you got to go around. Oh my goodness. I mean, that
yeah.
may
They
be
have a bunch of bushes too, so they have to like go around and trim around them. But my dad hurt his back recently. Usually he does that, but
yes.
last few weeks had to help out.
Sure. No, I mean that's being a good son right there. That's great. But not just that. Not just
Not just that.
Alex's lawn. Boom, my lawn.
Wow.
Look at that. I know you don't see it, Alex, but everybody else you can see it.
We are upgrading this podcast with
Pictures
visuals.
of the lawn now. Yeah, and I did the weed whacking. Felt good. It was little after 7, maybe 7:10, and it was still 91 degrees when I did this week.
Wow. It's
Yeah.
warm. Pretty warm.
Yeah, but as you can see, there's lots of shade, so it wasn't too bad.
Good. You just gotta stay hydrated and you'll be fine. Wear a hat. That's what I do.
You do. I have little hat I put on too. But I also went the extra mile and focused on the garden.
Ah, very good.
So not the best picture, I guess, of the garden, but like was weeding out a little bit more. I can do a little bit more around the edges, as you can see here in this picture. But hey, the veggies got room to grow, and I got more room to plant now.
Heck yeah. That was good. I'm excited for it.
Yeah.
Hopefully I'm gonna get something from that garden.
Oh, you will, because somebody,
Ooh.
somebody whose name rhymes with Alex's nom. It's Alex's mother. I'm trying to think of how do I make this
You
like
could have said Vietnam.
Vietnam. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the farmers market, since you all clearly, if you listen to this podcast, clearly you follow us on social media, 100%. As I choke on my refreshing LaCroix. So I go to the farmer's market, and Alex's mom has a booth down there. So I get to actually say hi to her every week, which is kind of fun. But she's back from a trip over to Russia, and I have some Russian, was it parsley and a few other things?
Parsley and dill, I think. Yeah.
Yes. So I'll be planting that in the garden. And it will be coming Alex's way for a little bit too. Like I'll take some,
Heck
he'll
yeah.
get some, and not to mention
Heck yeah.
radishes, onions, whatever I get.
Let's go. Yeah, and parsley and dill are very Russian, Eastern European green, right? So
Yeah.
it's a very good thing to add to meat, to veggies, pretty much anything.
I know. Like I'm like, man, put this on the tacos, just mix it in all the beef. It's gonna be great.
Anything, yeah. It adds flavor.
Perfect. Well, hey, listen, lawns are doing good. mothers are giving out gifts too. It's wonderful. So with that in mind, Alex, have you had any hobby lately?
A little bit, not a lot. A couple small things.
Okay.
As listeners know, I really only hobby primarily if we have like a tournament coming up.
Yes. Yeah.
That's when I do the bulk of my hobbying. But I like to get some occasional stuff done, especially building and assembling minis, sometimes priming, and then all the painting usually is like, you know,
Within the last
a
four
week,
hours.
a week, a week or less before the tournament, right?
Right.
But it's nice to have everything else ready before then. So yesterday, I finished assembling all of my Wolf Riders, and I moved
Yes.
3 of them on the square basis. The other ones I haven't moved on yet because I want to put the dirt medium first and then put them on because it's much easier than gluing the models on the base and then putting the dirt around. It just cuts the time in half to do it the other way.
Right.
So I'm going to do that probably sometime this week. And yeah, that's most of my hobby. I also finally finished Horus Heresy, the first book, Horus Rising, and
Yes. And I love the line and Russ just in the background,
on the background,
like
yeah.
judging you, like you're not turning, are you? You're staying
Right,
loyal to
right,
the
right,
Emperor.
right. Well, given that I primarily focus on fantasy and AOS and old world, it is harder for me to read and enjoy the 40K setting. But and this book, to be completely honest, the first half of it was for me a drag.
Yeah.
Even though I'm familiar with the story, it was definitely a slower start. But boy, the second half picked up, and I finished it. I think the whole second half within a week.
Yeah.
So it was much, much faster. Where the first half took me like almost a year. Just like, read a couple pages. This is boring. Close it. But yeah, at the end of it, I really
It picks
finished
up.
it up really quick. And yeah, I was cursing Erebus
Oh,
by,
as you
but
do.
like literally in my bed, and then like you freaking
You ruined
no.
everything. No, it
So my plan is to read the next two. I'm going to get physical copies, and then you gave me pretty good advice to just pick out a few of the books that I want to listen to, and maybe the rest just listen to the podcast so we're more in detail stories.
yeah, I mean the thing with the Horus Heresy at this point, like once we've played 40K, I mean I played 30K. You may jump into 30K at some point in the future. Um, but we know the story of the Horus Heresy generally.
Right. Right.
So it's never really been my prerogative to know every single beat by beat by beat,
Sure.
but knowing the big brushes and then diving in on the parts that are interesting. Like I love Dark Angels, I love Space Wolves, like
Mhm.
so like Prospero Burns is my favorite book. I'm a Dark Angel fan. Prospero Burns, favorite book in the whole Horus Heresy. But yeah,
Yeah.
so yeah, I would say let me know in the comments below. Let us know like if there's a better way to do it. But that's how I've found the most enjoyment. Like just read the ones I want of the chapters I care about, or by recommendation, and then the rest just listen to like coverage of audiobooks that go pretty deep. I mean, there's plenty of what's the Emperor Protects by 2+ Tough.
Mhm.
There's the Emperor or no, what was the other one? Uh, it was done by Garage Hammer and Greg Dan. They didn't do the whole thing, but they were great podcasts. I'll find and send the link to you.
I'm sure there's plenty,
Yeah.
right? So yeah, that's my plan. But the next two books I actually want to read because
Yes, the first
everybody says
trilogy is
very good
great.
things
Yeah.
about them. Yeah, yeah, cool. I'm excited.
Yeah, perfect. And I'll jump into my hobby. And everyone, you might be a little confused. What about news and everything? We're gonna get there. Just FYI, Neil's taking a break this week. He's got some stuff going on, so we're gonna have a special guest for a back half with Big M.
Yay.
He's returning a little Big
Heck
M
yeah.
takeover. We're gonna talk about dwarves later, just in general. But we're gonna front load this podcast a little bit this time, so it's gonna be a little bit different. But my hobby, oh man, you're gonna be so excited. I know Alex, you can't see this, but boom, look at this. It's an empty tub where I wrote Grand Cathay because this is where I'll store my army of Grand Cathay when it arrives and I build it and paint it.
What's the estimate on the arrival for that army?
I think it'll ship. It either ships this weekend or next weekend. I think it's a 2-week pre-order.
That's not bad.
No, because FLGS is out there, not just the ones around us, but like everywhere globally are getting them in early. So I'm seeing them
Yeah.
out in the wild, but I ordered online, so it'll take that couple weeks, but I'm gonna get it all at once. So yeah.
I make a prediction right now that before you get it, you're gonna get like a small box of something from our old game store.
I was in today when it arrived, and I kind of thought about it, but We'll
Then you're gonna look at the rules again, and you're gonna make a list and like, I need more of this, and you're just gonna buy it and
technically,
assemble
I
it.
don't. The two things I'd be looking at would be a second Sentinel or a second Great Longma, Schengen Lord on Longma. That's the Dragon Rider.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, that's pretty cool. Okay.
Sentinel would be probably better long term, I feel, but they're
Listen, those
also
are the big boys, the
yeah,
statues.
yeah, but it's
Yeah, they're pretty cool.
$162 before my discount. I don't know if I want to pay full retail on that.
That's a lot.
It
That is a
is.
lot.
It is.
Hmm. Hmm.
But I might buy a second Longma, which is a little bit cheaper and more affordable. So you're not outside possibility, but hey, we'll see.
I just have a feeling. If it's gonna take 2 to 4 weeks for you to get it, you have no hobby right now, you have nothing on the table.
I have one thing on the table.
You have one thing on
I
the.
do,
Oh
I
yes, you
do have
do.
one thing on the table. While reading through the match play guide, through various YouTubes and such, I decided to build my high elf baggage train. So I had a
Yay.
couple extra horses left over from Silverhelm kit. Obviously, tons of extra elf bodies just laying about. So I just did some kit bashing, put them on. Painting up the horses first, then I'll do the riders and base. So, although as to your point, Alex, this will probably be another day or two. I'll probably finish this tomorrow. Honestly,
Yeah,
work looks pretty minimal. So in between my calls, I'll probably be painting. Um,
makes sense.
yeah, but you're right. I will get bored and I'll be like, I don't know what to do.
And what's your next project? Cathay?
Cathay,
What do we have in our game store right now? Lots of
Cathay.
Cathay. So I feel like you're gonna get something. And
Yeah.
hey, maybe you can make it, spend extra time on that model.
Well, I mean, I haven't really made a narrative for like a leader within this. I actually have found.
Hmm.
We'll talk about it more. I think next week we're gonna do. Um, I don't know. Maybe we'll do both match play and arcane journal, or maybe we'll
Well,
do one or the. We'll figure it out. But I have started working out where my army's from at least.
right.
So if you've played Total War Warhammer, Yon Bao, he's the Jade Dragon. He's in the central area, which has lots of rivers and farmlands, and he's kind of boring. But he's friends with Miao Ying, who's going to be that dragon lady coming out, and I really like Yan Bao, so I'm like, put myself in one of those territories. I won't spoil it just yet, but
Sure.
I first started working on lore, so that might keep me entertained enough.
That's true.
But I
Do they
should
have
kit
the
bash a
rules
character.
for? They don't have the rules for all the other dragons yet,
No, no, no,
right?
no, no, no,
Right,
no.
right. It's just her. Yeah, yeah.
We don't even know. I assume they'll make more of them, but
Oh, they have to.
Beyond Bao would make sense since he's also in Total War. um, at least as far as a card goes. But anyway, um, that does lead to a very second interesting point here.
Mm.
You can't see it, but we are now marked safe. The little
Yes.
blue flag, marked safe from influencers painting a single Grand Cathay model before never touching the army again. Everybody, as of today, we have succeeded. It was an onslaught. It was absolutely terrible. I know it's a big release. GW throws everything out there, and I'm only complaining mostly because I've asked multiple times and got no response back, and it kind of made me mad. If they'd come back and said no, email could have said no. Period. I'm like,
Right.
I asked, they said no, all good.
Right.
But to not respond to my emails is kind of insulting for
Well,
everything I've done
unfortunate.
for the
Yeah.
hobby.
Yeah.
And
And you would have painted the whole army too. Everything they sent you, you would have painted.
I would paint everything, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, built
Yeah.
and painted. But anyway, so I'm gonna make fun of the not all the influencers. There's influencers out there who are painting the whole army, continuing on, but
Sure.
there's a lot of you out there painting one model, if that. You guys need to try
Well,
harder. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
I
Try
mean,
harder. Nope, try harder. I'm gonna put my
yeah,
foot down because I don't care about
yeah,
making money.
yeah, yeah. Some of them do spend a lot, like who are like artists and don't necessarily play the game. That makes sense for them.
Okay. Maybe I should clarify this a little bit. If you painted the champion only, 'cause I saw 1,000 of those. If you painted the champion only from the Jade
Sure,
Warriors, and that was it,
sure, yes, yes.
you need to try a little harder.
Yeah, I don't like
At
that.
least
But yeah,
at
some
least the
people
full
who painted
command.
like
Come on.
right, or like a hero. I've seen a lot of people
The heroes are
painted
nice. The Sentinels were good. I
the
like seeing the
balloons.
Varian Sentinels. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you see the guy who painted the lantern and put a space marine in there?
No, I missed that.
Yeah, it was
Oh, that's
awesome.
cool.
It was cool.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. But anyway, jokes aside, there will be a little bit of news.
Huh.
Let's sneak it in here. It is Grand Cathay related. So let me just bring it up here real quick. It was a Grand Cathay on the tabletop, so it's like the rules. But
Okay.
this came out the day after the rules leaked, so
Oh, sure,
yeah.
sure,
So
sure,
like,
sure.
there's not much here that I want to talk about because we'll also do our full Arcane Journal review, like I said, in a week or
Right,
two.
right.
I want to digest a little bit more because I really, really want to know this army. But at the very bottom
There we
was
go.
the most interesting thing it said. Um, do, do, do. Maybe I thought it was this one, but yeah. The second Arcane Journal, this is from J2Y. The second Arcane Journal will be released for Grand Cathay alongside
That's
Miao
right.
Ying and the individual releases from the Cathay Battalion. So I'll definitely pick up another
Mm,
War Machine, I think, out of that.
sure,
But there
sure.
are no other unrevealed units scheduled. It's a very narrative journal, blah, 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 blah.
Hmm.
But what's interesting about that, oops, wrong thing. What's interesting about that is the fact that we're not getting any more. We know there's more models potentially being able to be made from the Total War
Sure,
Warhammer series,
they'll have to, yeah.
but not in the plans right now, which the most exciting thing about that, everyone's going to be like, oh, that sucks. Like,
No, no,
yeah,
no.
that means they're probably working on Kislev. I
I
would imagine.
hope, I hope. They're probably working on something.
I
They're
would.
probably working on something. I would prefer Kislev, and I think the Kislev will do very well, but we'll see.
Well, I think it's okay. There's enough space to have an elite version of this army for Grand
Right.
Cathay.
Right,
And
right,
then they
right.
can, like, okay, Miao Yin comes out, sure, Second Arcane Journal. And then they'd maybe look at doing something for Kislev, maybe in a similar vein.
I would love that. I mean,
Yeah,
I would love that. I wouldn't be surprised if they did another faction like a Dogs of War or something,
sure.
or maybe some of the mercenaries, right? If they release some of those. But I would prefer, much prefer Kislev. And the reality is, like, everybody in the old world community is talking about Kislev and how much they want Kislev.
Exactly.
So if they're listening, they should release it. But who knows?
We'll see. I mean, we don't know. I mean, they could be working on the next edition for all we know. I'm not sure where it's at. I don't.
Right.
I feel with what we're going to talk about here shortly that they don't need to worry about the another edition for another couple of years. I
No,
think this is going to
no,
keep us a while, but
absolutely not.
there is a
Absolutely not.
there's a possibility because there's the rumors that cities of Sigmar are losing all the elves,
Mm,
which will probably be a ramp up towards maybe Malarian coming back, Malekith, obviously, in
sure.
Sigmar with new Dark Elf type kits. But does that mean then we'll get Dark Elves as a faction, get an Arcane Journal Dark Elves for Old
That
World
would make
potentially?
sense.
Because if Sigmar stops selling it and whatever the disputing the GW does on their back end for all that stuff doesn't have to be
Sure.
argued about. Granted, witch elves are an issue,
Yeah, yeah, that's a good
but
point. Did
however, there is old metal witch elves that they could sell.
oh, for sure. Oh, yeah, they could give the treatment they did to the goblins, right? They did
Exactly.
night goblins in AOS, and they just did the older sculpts of night goblins in Old World.
Right, which they could do that to solve that. Then that the only other issue then, you could use old Dark Riders. The only thing that would be the hard part would be Doomfire Warlocks because there's no old Doomfire Warlocks.
Yeah. Hmm.
But potentially,
I don't know. Some of those things might be the same though, because there are still units in Old World that exist in AOS, like for
very true.
Empire, a
Oh, very
Steam
true.
Tank, but they might be shifting those out. So who knows?
Yeah, I mean, or heck, maybe Daughter's Gain will get new Witch Elf models and it's like, okay, that's cool. I'm in.
Right? They are older models at this point, so
They
yeah,
are, they
maybe.
are. But yeah, that's exciting stuff there. That's really it for the news as far as I cared about. I don't
Yep.
Horus
Same for me.
Heresy. We'll see. We'll see. I don't know. I'm not sold on the rule set yet. I'm gonna wait. I'll probably buy the book and go.
Yeah. I'll eventually get an army, but honestly, it's probably going to be 2026 before I actually get into Horus Heresy.
You, everybody out there, just add 10 years to that for Alex.
I don't know. I've been pretty on it with my hobby this year, so I'm staying pretty optimistic.
That's true. That's true. All right. Well, all that said, we should talk about the most important thing here. Old World FAQ and errata
Right.
1.5.1 is out,
Heck yeah.
as well as the match play book, which we'll get to separately. Yeah, so here's just a quick brief through the article. We're going to look at the facts themselves, walk through
Sure.
them.
Sure.
Before we do that, though, the most we've called the best FAQ that exists.
Yeah.
So right here, I'm not sure. You all might have missed it. That's fine. How much do you bench? If you bench more than
Right.
your opponent, you start the game with 500 victory points.
Right. That's my favorite change. That's my favorite change.
It's the
As a
best change.
fitness influencer in Warhammer community, I think it's a really good move that GW did that.
I'm glad they're recognizing us out here. Okay.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
there's plenty of us, and they realize that we can bench more than them, so they need to listen to us
Right.
anyway. It's
Right. Yeah. They're shifting to more of a health and longevity mentality. So yeah, that's really cool. I like it.
exactly. Good. We've done it. Now we can stop working out, Alex. We can just we're done. We're done forever.
Well, we can't stop working out
Yeah, we can.
because we got to be able to bench more than our opponent. What are you talking about?
Oh, you're right. You're right. Okay,
Right.
well, it's just chest day
Yeah.
forever then.
Right, bro. I'm skipping legs
Yeah,
if that's. But if they're going that direction and making lifting part of the game, I'll just do whatever lifts they want me to do.
that's true. Well, I mean, we're gonna get version 1.5.2, and it's gonna be total. So what's your
Yeah,
squat,
they're gonna
deadlift,
add squats and deadlifts
and
eventually.
bench? Yeah. So we'll
Right,
be
right,
back
right.
in. But anyway, all right. Let's jump over to the FAQs. Alex, do you have it up on your end as well?
Yes, yes.
Gotcha. Okay. Um, so we're gonna do higher level. We'll go details on some things that are kind of interesting. Obviously, I'm
Sure,
gonna give a shout out to Square Based Podcast. They did a nice deep dive. It was just Rob over there, but it was very
of
well
course.
laid out, and they went through line by line. Um, I think the biggest change to start, just that's kind of an overall change we're gonna see here. Magical vortexes, they all move randomly now,
Yep.
and they can all be dispelled from from your wizard to the vortex, not necessarily wizard to the wizard. It can be either or.
That's huge.
Yeah.
That's huge. Yeah, because the whole thing with the pillar of fire,
Yep.
casting it and just moving back, and then you control the d6 movement every time. Yeah, no, that's a big change. I like it, and it makes sense.
Yes. And also, I think you take the same amount of damage as if you walk over it or it goes over you.
Yeah, 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 exactly.
So,
Yeah, and now it's just in line. Now pillar of fire is in line with all the other spells, right? So it all random moves.
mhm.
So yeah, I like it.
Yeah, it's good change, needed change. Honestly, that should have been the change from the start. Just make it,
It
maybe
should have
make
been a change.
or maybe make it it's random after the first turn.
Sure, sure, sure. I think it was just overlooked because literally every other vortex spell is random move.
Right, exactly. It's fun. I like it. Makes me happy.
Yeah. And it wasn't particularly overpowered spell, but it was the best pillar spell,
Yeah, you
right?
had to just groan and deal with it.
Right. So now it's more in level with in line with other ones.
So now about casting these spells though, it's a little harder now. Alex, do you want to walk through what the wizard changes are for
Sure.
dispelling
Yeah.
and
Very,
casting?
very big change. So basically, they gave you a convoluted math to do it. All it is level 1 and 2 wizards get +1 to cast and dispel. Level 3 and 4 wizards get +2 to cast and dispel. Where in the past, your bonus was equal to your level, right? So now they say it's equal to your level divided by 2 rounded up,
Right.
right?
Now, the only reason this is listed this way, I think, is because of the Beastmen. They have the magic
Oh,
item
really?
that lets you dispel at one higher than your opponent.
Sure,
So that's
sure.
where
Okay.
math would be a little bit wonky, but that's the only place I've seen it.
I see. I see. But yeah, we've there were rumors about this rule coming up, and we were all very hopeful. And now we're all very happy because there are reasons now to bring level 1 and level 3 wizards. Before
Right.
it was automatic. Why the heck would I ever bring a level 1 or level 3? And now you have a very good reason to bring it.
Yeah, I want to bring a level 1 on a horse just to run around and try and be the spell caddy, Sickle Vasurian caddy. Um,
Yeah,
Level 3, I've looked at, like, I'm like, ooh, that is tempting, but it is kind of, it's that offset because, like, usually I'm with high elves.
sure,
With my,
sure, right.
I'm taking a magic lore and I want to get specific spells.
Yep,
So, what's better to get a level 4 with Silvery Wand and draw 5 spells, or level 3 with Lore Familiar and choose my
right.
spells?
Yeah, exactly.
So, I, I
Yeah,
I'm still not saying I'm not taking a level 4, but I
right.
like that there's decisions to be made now.
Yeah, I think Empire is going to benefit a lot from it because they have access to all the schools of magic. And let's say
Yes.
you want a signature spell from a school of magic,
Hmm.
just take level 1 and run them around, right?
Yeah.
So no, I like it a lot.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see. Yeah, the spelling's the same. Barely controlled power. They did update it to be for the remainder of the current turn. Just a little rules tightening
Sure,
there, nothing major.
sure,
I
sure,
think we
sure.
were all kind of playing that way anyway.
Well
Yeah.
understood. Well understood. Yeah.
Um, I love the ward changes can't be changed unless
The
told
what is
otherwise.
it?
The ward saves.
Oh, sure. Nobody
Yeah,
was using
no
it.
one was doing
Nobody.
that way. Let's
Yeah.
um,
We're gonna ignore anything that nobody was disputing.
kind of
We're gonna
yeah,
only talk
yeah.
about the big changes.
So fighting rank.
Pretty
Two
huge.
opposing
Pretty
units
huge.
engaged in combat, any row of models, be it rank or file, is the fighting rank. Any model is within the fighting rank within a number of inches equal to its movement can fight. So this is to negate that nasty little line hammer that might have been popping up. I never really saw it.
Yeah, it didn't really come up that much. And yeah, now it's clear. Now it makes a bit more sense,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because if you have a huge line of 10 and infantry, right, and you had a hero charge, and all of a sudden the guys here can fight the guy in the middle, it makes sense.
Yeah, no, it's fine. I kind of wish it was. I don't know. I wish the supporting attacks, like with like okay, so I'm not touching your base, but I'm within my movement. I wish I still got full attacks. It's still gonna be
Yeah,
one,
yeah,
but
yeah.
is what it is.
Who's it mostly matter for? Heroes, right? But
Well,
most infantry is one attack, so it's
Fury of Cain, I'll get extra attacks on sword masters. I'd love to get the extra
ah,
attack. You know what I mean?
sure,
Like little things
sure.
like that. But
Yeah,
there'll be
you're right,
there'll
you're
be other
right.
ways to get extra attacks. We're gonna find out here.
Very true.
Also, supporting attacks, models whose weapon allow them to support can do so if their rank or file directly behind the fighting rank and within a number of inches, blah, 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 blah,
Right.
blah. However, supporting attacks cannot be made on the flank or rear as usual. So it's just tightening up the movement
Now,
thing.
that's interesting because there are some spells allow you to lower enemies' movement. And this may be a good
Ooh.
way to, a good way to, because before they're like I think my goblins have access to a few spells that are like 15 inches and you lower the movement by one. You're like, okay, who cares? But now all of a sudden, if it's a big block, maybe I'll get like 5, 6 less guys who can attack me.
Yeah, no, that's true.
I
That's
charge
true.
like a
Yeah.
mangler or a hero in it. Yeah, so
Yeah, especially,
it's,
yeah, you have the small missile type things like that. That can be pretty
yeah,
good.
yeah.
Let's see. Charging units, change second sentence. Second sentence. Represent this model's gain and modifier their initiative. It just caps it at 10.
Yeah,
That's all
sure,
it is.
sure, sure,
And
sure. Yeah, I don't think we ever went beyond 10.
I thought it was capped at 10 for the longest time. So
Yeah, yeah. Some of those things we were playing like that already. You're
yeah,
like, oh,
maybe like
let
I
me
could see
clarify.
Chaos Warriors with their buffs, Eye of the Gods. Maybe that's how
Sure.
people could be like,
Yeah,
oh
that's
well, it's
fair.
different. Blah blah. Yeah, sure, whatever. Anyway,
Right, right, right.
um, so fly is a very interesting thing. You can't use fly to pursue anymore.
Yeah, that's
So
interesting.
yeah, so you can't. So Alex, you love your hordes. Say I crush a unit of goblins in front of another unit of goblins, and
Right.
you run through and pop through. I could technically, if I could fit in before this FAQ, pursued
Yep.
over and
You
ignored
could
that
have. Yep.
one, but now I can't.
Yep.
I'm
No, you
pursuing on
can't.
the
Yep.
ground.
Yeah, and usually there's some units whose regular movement is quite short, and fly is very high.
Well, no,
So
no,
yeah, that also
you
could
can
be.
still use the fly movement. It's just you're not. So
Okay, so you can use your. Okay.
yeah, um, uh, flying through the air rather than moving across the ground. When a model flies, it uses fly movement characteristics shown in brackets. Oh wait,
Oh yeah, I don't think you
oh
can.
no, you can't. I guess you can't. It'd be yeah, it'd be shorter.
Yeah, that doesn't happen very often. Most flyers also have like a movement 7, right? Or 6 or 8. So
Yeah,
it's still
yeah,
pretty high, but now you have a chance to actually outpace them a little bit.
yeah. I mean, sure, why not? I mean, I look at my dragons, movement 6. It's kind of lower.
Exactly.
I look at
Yep.
my future Spirit of Longmas, movement 8. Yeah,
Right,
I'll
right,
be
right. You're
fine.
not going to care. Yeah.
Um, Another big change, especially in our local medics, we have Tom who plays all the corn. You
Yeah, that's a big one.
only get the
It's
frenzy
unfortunate.
bonus if you charge.
Yep.
I don't necessarily agree with this one, I think.
Yeah. Given how well, I don't know, we are shifting to more infantry meta. So if we're going to
True.
have a lot of infantry and infantry charges infantry maybe is more likely in this new meta, but who knows?
Yeah,
Maybe they play tested and they had it happen enough, or it's like, okay, you should only get it on a charge.
I think that
But we'll see.
the problem is frenzy is already there's already downsides to frenzy.
Yeah, you have to charge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say I would prefer if it was something like they lose frenzy for all attacks in the rear or flank.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not the best. It doesn't affect me. It doesn't affect
No,
you.
not
So
really.
I'm
No,
not too upset. But it is something that, yeah. Thing is, I did not feel like it was overpowered in the past. Um,
no, I didn't
but
feel no, no. It's I mean, but there's more to kill in the fighting rank now, so frenzy should still be good. There's extra attacks going on.
yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah. I don't hate it. I don't love it. I feel kind of neutral about
yeah,
it.
I feel like that's going to be tweaked again.
Yeah, it might.
Yeah,
It might.
I think that's it. What do you think about the impact hits now?
Um, uh, uh,
I think it
I,
makes
I
more sense.
I think it makes more sense. I did not hate it in the past because I have so many impact hits, but it does. I think it does make no sense, and I think overall it's a more positive thing. So basically, now it's not part of fighting as initiative. It just happens before initiative is taken into
It
account.
yeah, we actually have two extra new subsets of that whole process now. We have impact hits, then like challenges, then fighting, and then at the end we have stomps and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah, yeah,
Which
yeah. So
spoilers ahead,
basically,
stomps are always at the end now
yes,
after
yes.
initiative one stuff.
So impact hits and stomps are basically outside of on both sides of initiative fight.
Yes.
Happens now. It's just fine. I think it makes sense.
Yeah, I like it. I
I'm not
saw that. I'm
against
like, cool, works.
it. Yeah, I don't know if I didn't see a need for it to be changed, but yeah, it's fine.
I think the changes, if we're gonna see more infantry, and I see that big black orc on giant chariot screaming down my way, you better believe I'm challenging. Because in the old style, because he would eat the impact hits and die, and
Right.
then there would be no overkill because there would be no
Yeah. Now you get
fights.
that. You can please kill the
Yeah, you'll
unit
kill
a
the
little
unit
bit for
first
him.
before you do the challenge, and then it's like,
Yeah.
okay,
No, it's. I think
yeah.
yeah, it's a good change. It's a good
In
change.
an infantry style meta, I think that's a good change.
Yeah, that's fair.
Now here's the best change.
I like that a lot.
As a high
It
elf
makes
player,
sense.
Impetuous is now on leadership.
Yep.
Good,
No,
good.
it makes sense.
I never had a problem with Impetuous. I was one to charge anyway, but now I get more control. I'm gonna bring maybe 2 units of Dragon Princes on their own just to run around. I can control it a little
Yeah.
bit better.
It's more logical, and there's still a chance it's going to happen. But you have these dragon nobles who are these reserved, and and all of a sudden they're charging my unit of Mangus Quake. And you're like, okay,
Yeah.
why would they do that?
But I like the risk of it because if I roll
Sure,
that 10, 11, 12, and I do it,
sure.
well, he's really hot blooded. I guess it then makes it a little bit more of a
So it still makes sense, but
yeah.
not now.
Plus, it's
But like wolf riders who are kind of stupid, and their wolves are less controlled, then sure, that makes sense.
yes, I love it.
Yeah.
Large target, Alex. I know you were happy about this.
I'm not happy
Oh,
about
I thought
this.
you. Oh, that's right, because you run the big
It's
blocks of hordes.
it's the opposite. Yeah.
Sorry,
So I like running big blocks of archers because we have a large
big
target meta.
goblins. Yeah,
Everybody brings a dragon, and they had the rules in the past that a large target, a shooting unit, as long as there's no other large target in the way, everybody can shoot. Right. So I have a unit of 60 archers. You can shoot as long as you have range with 60 archers.
right.
Now you can't.
Nope.
So that, and actually, I guess I'll bring in the poison attacks. Uh,
Yeah.
that and the poison attacks now being worse, where before on natural 6 to hit, poison attacks automatically did not need to wound, but now all you get is a +2 modifier to your wound rolls. So I think we're going to see less big poison attacks shooting blocks.
Yeah. I don't know. Downsides and upsides. So before, if you rolled a 6 to hit with a poison,
Yeah.
boom, automatic hit. You have to make your save, but you're not getting any bonuses. However, now 6 to hit, get +2. If you can get poison and armor bane, because
Yeah,
you have
most
a
things don't have.
shot, you have a shot. I mean, still, I don't think that +2 is gonna make the armor bane happen because that's a natural 6. But at least
Right.
you're like, well, you have a shot now at getting armor bane potentially. But I'm not sure what that looks like for making a unit that can do that. I'm not sure if that's
Right.
worthwhile.
The problem is the units that would benefit from it are units that are cheap when you bring a bunch of them.
You'd have to
They
bring
don't
like
have armor
you'd bring a banner, and you have to
right?
naturally have poison. Yeah,
You can bring the is it the yeah you can bring the banner. So yeah, no, naturally you're not going to get the armor bane anyway. So I am sad about both the large target and poison attacks rule. I did not think it was overpowered, but maybe because they scaled down large targets or dragons at least a little bit, it sort of makes sense.
Yeah, I think the large target didn't bother me too much. The poison attack bothered me a little bit more.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
also
because
because
poison always used to be sixes, just go through,
right,
right? So
and the thing is too with this, I always look at something that slows the game down by having me to separate out dice as a negative
sure,
as
yeah,
opposed to just streamlining things. Because but
yeah,
anyway,
yeah,
right, next up another big one. Like I said, there's a lot of big ones in this
a
document
lot of big
specifically.
ones. Yeah,
Regen, now where it belongs and how we played it for months before we realized
yep.
we were wrong, and now we're right again.
Now we're right again. Yeah, and this. Yep. Go ahead.
Yep. So you have your armor save, you have your ward save. That's one dice each.
Hmm.
Regen used to be one dice. Now, if it's a multi-wound weapon, you roll the dice based on the wounds received. So if it's
Yep.
D3 and you roll 3 on those wounds, I roll 3 regen saves.
Yep.
I like
Yep.
it. I that's to me that's how it should play, and
Exactly.
that's how we were playing it because we never really read the rule the whole way through.
Yeah, it makes sense. It's better now. Actually, for combat resolution, it's more important, right?
Yep.
Because you actually get more combat resolution from your multi-damage attacks. I like it. Makes perfect sense to me.
Yes. Stomp attacks we covered. Stupidity. You have an army that has to care about this a little bit. What do you think about this
Some,
change?
yeah. If you play trolls, which are not that good anyway, just bring squigs. But if you do play trolls, you have to be even smarter now, because in the past, if you failed stupidity test, you could have moved forward, stumbled forward a little bit, so you can at least advance. Now you can literally not do anything. You can't move, you can't shoot, you can't attempt wizardly dispel if you have a hero in that unit. You must hold if you're charged.
Right.
You can still attack if you're in combat,
Sure.
but yeah, you literally just stand in place. And yeah, you just have to be even more careful. And that one time you roll an 11 followed by an 11, and you have one troll in front of your unit of 50 goblins, it's going to really suck.
Yeah, it will suck, but no,
And
that's
actually, I don't think you can reroll a stupidity roll anyway. So yeah, once the one time you roll an 11 with the one troll, you're using as like a target or something, yeah, you're kind of
yeah.
screwed.
So position well, folks.
Positioning is going to matter with stupidity. And yeah, I think Chaos Warriors have some stupidity.
Dark
Dark
elves,
Elves,
cold
right?
ones. Although cold,
Yeah,
to be fair, lizardmen kind of ignore it because we get the 3d6 type shenanigans.
sure. But
Yeah.
the couple times you're going to roll really poor, and you can't reroll with the banner.
Right.
Now you have your two units behind it. Now they can't really move much.
Yep.
So positioning is going to be very very important when you play them. So yeah, it's a sad thing, but it certainly makes sense. They're stupid. They're looking at the butterflies and looking at the dirt.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Having the time of their life. Speaking of having to think now, take this, Bretonian players. Your vanguards cannot charge first turn.
Yep, good move.
That's a very
Good
good
move.
move.
I like it. It's
Um,
just
it's like I remember when I played Abe, and like I mean, this is what my army does. I need to go forward. I know I might
yep.
bait myself. Like him and I were talking through it, and like we just knew what could happen, and we'll see what happens. But
Mhm.
now, Bretonian, and plus not to mention points went up on the Peg Knights too. You're gonna have to think a
Yeah,
little bit differently on how you want to
a lot
play it.
more.
So all good there.
I like it a lot.
Yep. How about Warband? Because we talked about this,
Yeah,
yeah,
not a
before.
huge change.
Not for you.
No, yeah. So basically, Warband rule allows you to add leadership for every rank as long as you have a Warband rule. And for Orcs and Goblins, most heroes and units have Warband rule. So basically, if I'm leadership 7, if I have 3 ranks with a Horde and a Warband rule, I can get to leadership 10, which is exactly how I play my army. Uh, so now, if you are rolling a restraint test or an impetuous test, so for orcs it matters a lot,
Yeah.
you have to roll against your natural leadership. So very similar how a after
Mm.
you flee, what's the recovery roll? Stop fleeing.
Oh, rally.
Rally, yeah. Same thing for rally, right? You
Right.
do not. You have to test against your natural leadership. So yeah,
Nice.
makes sense.
Yep.
Yeah.
Fun. Quick turn. This is kind of a neat one. If you're open order, unless you march, you can move and turn your facing 90 degrees during the remaining move subphase. That makes me want to go out and find the things that are open order. Be like, okay, that's some good repositioning tactics I could get going
A
on
lot
here.
of things are surprisingly open order or close order.
Yeah. So I'm
So
kind of curious
it's
what can I use to prepare for charges and such. Um, Skirmishers in combat. They maintain close formation. Essentially, if you're once you're out of combat, you have to separate by the smallest amount
Yeah,
possible. So you have to just go back in skirmish formation, which is like, okay,
sure. I don't think it affects the game too much.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why they even put there, but sure.
Yeah. Um, a unit. Sorry. Do you want to read this one? Go for it.
No, no, go ahead, go
Okay.
ahead. I'm just saying that it's that's a good rule.
Yes. A unit of skirmishers may charge an enemy unit visible to more than half, 50% of its models when chargings are declared. And I had this happen, like I said, once again, Bretonian. One little bit of a peg knight in skirmish formation was just hanging out and could see my big old block.
Yep.
Um, yeah, and the rest were hiding behind a building essentially, and he was able to charge me and wreck face. That was the game at the
Yep.
time. That's fine, but now, no, you have
Yep.
to put that thing out there. Can't just like. And I said, my Larian Reavers, the same thing. I could have hid most of them and just made these little cheeky charges, but no, now you gotta. Everybody has to see where you're going.
Yep. Yeah. So now
Well, half people have to see where you're going.
you will just basically struggle way more to charge with your skirmishers sideways, right? Front and back, you're still fine, but yeah, now sideways charges are so they're much more limited now, which I think is fair.
Well, yeah, it's really you're just not going to be hugging terrain as much.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
yeah,
For
no
sure.
problem there. Great change.
Yep.
All right, now here's the big one. You wanna start off here? Just run down what's going to happen to infantry and heavy infantry for us in this new world we live in.
Sure, sure. So the big things with infantry is unless you have charged with your infantry, you get to fight in the second rank,
Yes,
basically. That's a huge change.
massive.
Another big thing that happened to infantry is as long as you have, if you're a close order, I believe, or you don't even have to be close order.
No,
No, yeah, as long as you have a higher unit strength than your opponent, you get +1 to combat resolution, which is really good for horde units. So that's great. So
what
those
yeah
are
what
the
what
big
you're
changes to
what you're thinking about
combat.
is you have to be unit strength 10 to gain the +1 on close order now.
Right. Yeah. But all of a sudden, and a lot of things are close order, so that's not going to matter. So most likely your infantry against infantry is going to be close order. Most likely you're going to be unit strength 10 anyway. But yeah, all of a sudden, it helps if you have a horde, which typically is going to be weaker, but you're going to get +1 combat resolution to them.
Yeah, I look at my biggest dragon. I'm strength 10 or strength 9. Strength 9. I'm sorry. So
Strength 9.
I don't
Yeah.
get close orders useless to me.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, against big monsters, all of a sudden your close order is +1. Your mass infantry is +2,
You're getting
right?
two ranks, two fighting ranks now.
Two fighting ranks now, and you most likely have three if you're a horde. I'm thinking for me, so I get 5 combat resolution just from existing,
Yes.
which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I like it.
And then, not to mention, we're gonna be little tanky little infantry units here because we have parry now. The new that
Yeah.
Wood Elf rule is now for everybody. With the sword and shield, warriors attempt to deflect attacks. So if you're if you have a hand weapon and shield, your armor
Mhm.
value is increased by 1 to a maximum of 3+.
Yep.
Great. I'm
That's
scared of
awesome.
dwarves right now.
Yeah.
High weapon skill, higher toughness, hand weapon shields, and can take great weapons because we're gonna
Yeah.
see it here too. You can just switch every round your weapon.
Huge.
I'm a dwarf. I take a
Huge.
charge. Cool. I have my hand weapon shields. All right, now we're going again. Cool. Great weapons.
I'm very excited to see more infantry on the table because of these pretty major changes.
Yeah. This immediately went like cool. Like I've written lists and I haven't even thought about a dragon.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah. And now, yeah, no, for sure, for sure. I think it's a lot of good things happening right now.
yeah, fantastic. That's the best part. It's the good feeling section of this. Okay. Weapon of war. War machines can freely pivot about center immediately before shooting to better face it and make a follow up move as normal. So it's just clarify.
Sure.
That's
Yeah.
fine.
And most war machines, I believe, are skirmishers, so they have 360 view anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah. I mean, it's probably a few that matters for. Like,
Sure. Yeah. Probably. Yeah. Sure.
all right, you want to do enemy shooting here?
Actually, I did not read that one, so go ahead and read
Oh,
that for me.
all right. Let's see. Characters join the unit. Essentially, okay. Let's just call this out now. So I have a wizard on a horse, and I made him
Mhm.
join a unit of infantry. he
yes.
can be
Okay.
targeted. He can't hide
Right.
as well.
Right.
That's all. That's kind of what this is mostly getting to here. So they can't get a lookout, sir. Um, yeah, you have to be the same type. Yada yada yada.
Yep. Yep. So you have to have 5 or more models in there, and you have to be the same troop type. Now, light cavalry, heavy cavalry, that does not matter, right?
No, I think cavalry is cavalry, infantry is infantry. I think that's fine.
Uh, got it. Got it. Got it. So it does say infantry or cavalry. So monsters infantry you can join with, um,
Just
let's say
cavalry. Yeah.
light infantry, and will be the same.
No. Monsters is different. It's just light and heavy are the ones that I think can interchange. Monsters
Got it.
is a
So
separate
monsters
thing
are with
entirely. Yeah.
monsters. Yeah, got it. Got it. Got it.
Um,
Huh. Interesting.
Now, this next one I'm going to read too, real quick, because this is a very big change. People aren't, I feel people are missing and overlooking.
Mhm.
Challenges and mounts. So, if either participant is slain from their rival before a mount can make an attack, those attacks are lost. That's including stomps. That's everything. And why that's key, a dragon comes in and my little champion is going to challenge you out.
Mhm.
I almost guarantee that whoever's on that dragon will kill me because I'm a 1 wound champion. So all of a sudden, that combat res of overkill that you're trying to get to +5, you get
Yeah.
6 up combat res for the
Yep.
dragon charging in. You're gonna get 1, and that
Mhm.
guy's gonna be dead. And you're like, cool, I out combat res you already, and
That's
now I
pretty
get to
huge.
now I get to swing on you.
That's pretty
Well,
huge.
not to get to swing. I guess you're in a challenge, but like I will win that. I will win that first round of combat if a dragon charges in because you don't have close order. You charge in, you're gonna do 1 wound to my guy. He's dead. Maybe you do 2. Let's say 3 if you're lucky. Okay, like you, Alex. I charge my dragon in. Your combat res is base 5.
Right.
I did 3 wounds to your guy, so 1 + 2 overkill because the guy up top swung.
Right.
Cool.
Yeah.
You
So
win. You win by
that's where
2.
they.
Yeah,
Right.
and
That's where
that's
impact hits before combat helps out. Right. So that's nice.
dragons don't have impact hits though.
Oh, they don't. Oh, they have
They have
stomps.
stomps.
But you get stomps. You get stomps. So
No,
you'll be
because
okay.
I'm in a challenge.
No, stomps happen
Oh,
outside.
do stomps still happen in a challenge? Let's scroll back up to that real quick. Let's double make sure we're thinking about that correctly.
Well, stomps I think are not here. I think they're a little bit lower.
Stomp attacks.
Oh,
Stomp
you found it.
attacks
Okay.
are made in combat and must be made last after all attacks have been resolved and have been made, including attacks initiative 1. They hit automatically use unmodified strength. So if you're in a challenge, I think those still go into the challenge. I don't think that's changed. They just hit after initiative 1.
Because challenge happens after impact
Right.
hits.
Impact
But
hits,
once
challenge,
once
combat,
right,
stomps. Yep.
right. And challenge, everything after a challenge, if you're in combat, happens in that combat.
And technically
That sucks.
stomps are from the monster. And the guy up
Yeah.
top already killed you. So yeah. You get a
Yeah.
you're good.
Oh,
If you can
yeah.
be if you I would say if you're +4 combat res naturally, you're gonna win every first round of combat with the dragon, unless their guy does 5+ attacks. You know what I mean?
Unless he has a really crazy top guy on top, like
Well,
Chaos Lord
it's
or
all about
Vampire
your top.
Dragon.
How many attacks can you do?
Yeah. I mean, I
I can
think
do 4, maybe 5 if I get a spell off and I'm putting
if
out
you
my
get to
dragon.
5, but then you roll a 1 onto
Yeah,
hit, you
you
roll like
miss
a
one. Yeah,
1 onto wound. So yeah, you're probably averaging 3 going through,
yeah.
and then you win automatically.
Infantry can tank
Yeah.
dragons if you plan for it accordingly.
Yeah.
I don't need to
Yeah,
worry about dragon slaying
especially
sword anymore.
yeah, you challenge, you throw in like for me, I throw in a crappy hero, a challenge with my champion, a challenge with a crappy hero. All of a sudden, yeah, no, that's pretty good.
Yep.
That's pretty good.
People are. I think people are
Unless
sleeping on that a
you
little bit.
double charge and you charge something else
Oh,
with it,
sure. Yeah.
or you charge on the flank, but then you're committing a lot to the charge.
Yeah. No, that's fine. But like I said,
I like it.
yeah, I don't want to commit a lot to a goblin unit. But
Sure,
you're not really a
sure,
Death Star, so
sure. No. Yeah,
anyway,
no.
they did change some weapon profiles. We're just gonna skip past that. Is
Sure,
what it is.
sure.
Maximum armor value. Do you want to glance through that for us real quick?
Yeah, yeah. So infantry and cavalry, as in the past, can not get better than 2+. Chariots, monsters, or war machines cannot get better armor value than 3+. And they're reasoning it by like, yeah, it's going to be hard to encase your whole dragon in
Yeah.
armor.
Pour,
That
pouring
makes
out.
sense.
Pouring out for my 2 up dragon. It's gone now. 3 up now.
It makes sense because most likely on your dragon or monster, you're able to get a hero. So there were so many builds that are like 2 up, 5 up, 5 up
I was able to
with
technically get an elf to a 1-up for no reason other than AP and armor bane, I guess,
right,
shenanigans. But
right. So um, yeah, and I believe that means that so can you technically get to a 2 up but never roll, like a 2 would still fail? Or you can literally not have an armor save of better than the
you
3 up.
cannot go better than a 3-up. That's a hard
Okay, so you
stop.
literally can't even build better than a 3 up.
No,
Okay.
no. And like I said, that's a way to that with the regen it doesn't fix, but it helps towards the whole I have 3 saves: armor, ward, and regen.
Right.
Now,
You can still get 3 up, 5 up, 5 up, but it's better than 2 up, 5 up, 5 up.
yeah, exactly. All right. Dead or fled, that's just getting in line with the match play.
Yeah,
That's all that
sure.
wording is. And then we start getting into this like pillar fire, all these making sure all the template spells are the same. And then
Mhm.
spells, since now we're casting only with +1/+2, spells are being reduced, it looks like, by 1 across the board for a lot of
Looks like
different
it, yeah.
spells. Not all the spells.
Yeah.
The annoying part is it makes my cards redundant. So I'm like,
Yeah,
shoot, I have to remember
sure.
which ones are which, or just print out the
Sure.
fan made ones at this point. But
Sure.
um, yeah, so
I don't
effect.
know if they need to do that. I don't know if they needed to do that because most armies have a way to make the spells go off, and spells are already so good that hey, you don't get it off, you don't get it off, right? So,
I don't
I, I,
mind magic across the board being harder, but yeah, I kind of wish they didn't do it. Just for
yeah,
my
just
cards being redundant is annoying.
right, right. Yeah, I did not like. There were I've had turns because goblins have ways to make their casting better, and I would usually bring a power scroll or two. I've had many turns at a tournament
Hmm.
where I would get all my spells off.
Right,
And I'm just like, I feel kind of bad. I would still lose many of the games, so it doesn't
right.
really matter. But yeah, I would not have a problem with making spells, keeping the spells as they were, and making casting harder.
Yeah, and to be fair, the only high magic spell that's my preferred lore that they changed was Shield of Safri, which I really don't like anyway, because it's
Sure,
only till
sure,
my turn. It's like that's oh well.
sure.
Oh, and they I guess travel mystical pathways, which is I think like a teleporty spell. They just kind of tightened that up a little bit too. So
Yeah,
um
okay.
yeah, and then yeah, we're getting more and more
Oh, that's
into
different. Yeah, that's different.
yep.
That's better.
It's yeah,
Oh,
it's tighter too. I like it.
that's good. I like it.
Yeah, more the same. I like here, page 344 and page 1 of the quick reference sheet. Um, casting a spell. It's just how to cast and dispel. That's all it is. But we know how to do that now.
Mhm. Ruby Ring of Ruin, up 5 points, I believe, and
Ogre Blade,
harder
same.
to cast.
Yep, Ogre Blade is now 75 points, so you can't get the
Ooh.
extra little defensive thing with it. So,
Mhm.
yeah, that's a big one. You're right. Those two are very big things. All right, the FAQs. We'll see. Some of these are like, eh. Um, what happens if a scatter roll causes any part of an objective to cross the board edge? Remove it from play. Easy. Um,
Oh,
model.
that's interesting. Okay.
Yeah, because there's
Yeah,
some
I don't
scatters.
know if I would have played it. I don't think I would have played it that way. So, like, if I shoot my catapult and it scatters an inch away, I would still hit it. But it says so you can't. Okay, you can't now.
Yeah,
Interesting.
it's just remove from play. Yep. So,
I don't know if
yeah, I don't know if that needed to be that, but
I think it should have said for vortex spells. I think it shouldn't have been for all scatter roll.
well, it says object, so I don't know if this is necessarily that template.
Oh, maybe.
Object's probably something like the baggage train and stuff like that. Probably like the secondary terrain
Oh,
things.
I
Sorry.
see. Okay, that makes more sense. Okay,
Yeah.
I see it.
Let's see. Model required to make leadership tests. Uses leadership. Can it use leadership of different model? General? No.
Yeah, I don't know that you need to clarify. So basically, it's just saying if the rules specifically say you have to use your own leadership, then you have to use your
Use
own
your own
leadership.
leadership. Yeah.
But if it doesn't say, if it just says use leadership, then you can use whatever leadership buffs you have.
This one. Hey, if I use an item that requires my leadership and it's one use only and I fail it, do I count as having used it? Yes. Okay. All
Yep.
right. It's a risk.
I swear it's probably like there's two guys playing a game and one of them is trying to be gamey
Yeah.
and like, oh, I swear I can keep using it even if I fail. Like, no, you
Gotcha.
can't.
Yeah, you can't combine saves. Let's come on, guys, stop
Sure,
it.
moving on. Yeah.
This is I think we were playing it this way anyway, but you can
Yep.
only cast and dispel for your wizard level, not necessarily how many spells you know, because there's so many things out there
Yep.
that allow you to do that.
Sure, sure.
If
Which is another reason to bring level 4.
exactly. Remains in play spell, casting value. If it casts on the higher one, you dispel on the lower one.
Yeah.
How many remains in play can you cast? However many are there, as long as you're wizard level. So if I can do 4 if I'm level 4. Try and get rid of 4 out
Yeah.
there. That's it.
Yeah. This is yeah. No, it makes
This
sense. All of them were playing as we were.
also GW. Don't start any answer with as many as you wish and then completely go against that. And just don't say as many as you wish. Just tell me the answer because you go right against it anyway.
It's just some guy trying to be snarky.
I know. Calm down. We're buying the game. Just be nice. All right. Um, Single model unit straddles 2 arcs of an enemy. Okay, yeah, we know this. This is basic. We're just
Yep.
okay. This one actually, if a unit charges an enemy defending a low linear obstacle, can it stop on top of the obstacle? No. I think there's been some back and forth on that, so that's good to get that clarified.
Sure.
You're at the wall. No, you can't shoot with magic missiles while you're fleeing and stuff. Blah blah blah.
Yeah, you can stand and shoot. You cannot shoot when you stand and shoot.
I would love it if
You cannot cast a magic missile when you stand and shoot.
I would love if they allowed that.
That'd be neat.
Like you can do
but I don't
one.
think
You can do.
I don't
You
think
can,
anybody in
I would say
our space was using it. But
no, none of us are doing that. But I would like magic missile. That'd be kind of cool.
yep.
Yeah. This is a clarification. This is how we were all playing it. I feel like at least locally, but it's good clarification that hey, if we have our heroes on the corner and they're in a challenge, and I have a flank charge too, can I still swing on the unit? Yes, no problem.
Which one are you looking at? Oh, you're
Page
looking
10.
at the bottom
Yeah,
one,
yeah,
right?
yeah. Bottom one.
Yeah,
Bottom one. I'm kind of skipping the blues. They're just
Sure.
little things. And then yeah, there's there's the close order thing. So you only get close order 2 if you have a higher unit strength. So and strength attack, yeah, all that sort of stuff. Just yeah, okay. Counter. This caused some issues with the counter charge.
Sure.
I've seen it multiple people out there for it.
Right.
Does the counter charge D3+1? Does it count as a charge roll? No, but it does count as a charge. The reason people were asking this for charge rolls because technically with Swift Stride and stuff you can get extra dice. People are trying to be D3+1+6. Like no.
Right. Some banners will get a +3 to charge roll.
Not a charge roll.
Yeah,
You'll still get your lances. So we're all good there.
Yeah. When I first saw it, because I don't have any countercharging units, I was like, that sucks.
Yeah.
That sucks for every countercharge. You don't count as a charging. No, you count as charging. You just don't get any bonuses to your charging roll besides D3+1.
Right. The fly X rule. So essentially, when you fly, you're in the air. When you land, you're touching the ground. That's it. Just like it always has been, everybody.
Yep. And anytime you are in combat, you are on the ground the whole time.
Exactly. Yes. This is just terror. Terror doesn't take terror. Got it.
Sure.
Can my battle standard bearer have a higher leadership than my general? This one, I got to pour one out for my shenanigans. I've been doing this since day 1. As a high elf player, I would have my noble with BSB, Terathi. So since she was the BSB, she could not be the general. So then my handmaiden could then be the general because she was leadership 8, not 9. And she was the same as my archmage. So I could then bring a unit of Sisters of Avalorn as core.
Yeah, it makes sense. It should have been that from the start.
But I don't think it should have been that from the start. I think they should never allow you to unlock things into core. That's the issue.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
I would rather they change that than this. I don't mind this, but I still have to pour one out for my original list from the start of this game.
Yeah, I don't know if I love the whole core rule that you cannot have a low leadership be your general, right? Because I cannot have my sneaky shaman be my general because I have an orc
With the BSB. Right, but I would rather sure you can have that, but that I would never try to really do that. Because the thing is, it does say highest leadership is your general.
Yeah.
But the only reason that we were doing this is a few armies to unlock our core. Don't give us that core option, I would say.
Right. Yeah, that's fair.
But anyway, it's fine. I'm upset by it. Just pour one out for it. Let's see. Can characters that have joined a unit models different troop types be targeted by enemy shooting? Yes. So yeah, we talked about that above. Yes, a character who joins a carries magic standard. It does affect everybody. Yeah, it hits everybody
I
near
don't
it.
think anybody was worrying
Yeah.
about that. Yeah.
All right. If a spell Arcane Urgency is used to move a unit in random movement, can a unit move into contact with the enemy unit? No.
They can't.
So
I've been using that wrong. I did get a clarification on it from Kevin, actually, World's Strongest Warhammer.
mhm.
Uh, and yeah, I read the rules and I was like, oh, it makes sense. But I missed it for the longest time. And literally everybody at the club when I played against them didn't call me out because they missed it as
Well,
well.
yeah, so we were like, yeah, whatever, random move, whatever. But it's
Very easy
different.
to miss.
Yeah.
Very easy to miss. But yeah, so I'm glad they clarified it.
Yep. Let's see. When deploying armies, must units be completely in their deployment zones? Yes. Who the
I don't know
who?
who asked that question.
Get
Yeah,
out of
it's
here.
yeah.
Go
Okay,
play
moving on.
40K. Stop it. Get out of this game, all right? I'm gonna gatekeep that
Um,
guy out. You stay away. All right. Unit charges the enemy upon which Earthen Ramparts has been cast. Must it follow all the rules for charging an enemy unit behind a defended low linear obstacle, even though there's no such thing? Yes. Which I think we were doing anyway.
what are the rules when you charge a unit defended below low linear obstacle?
Well, I think it's just like with how the fighting works. I haven't we haven't done it too much. I don't know the exact
Yeah,
rules top of my head on it.
yeah. I don't know if there is if there's a rule for charging something behind the low linear obstacle. Got to rule it up. Look it up because I don't know what it is.
I mean, like, yeah. Anyway, all right, and the last one for the core rules: what happens if a scroll of transmogrification is used on a bound spell?
Interesting.
After testing against the item's power level, in place of level wizardry, it may be turned into an inanimate frog, rendering it useless until it turns back. They're going to turn each subphase, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Cool.
So an item is turned into a frog?
Yeah.
Sure.
Do you grab the frog? Like, okay, oh, here's my fiery ring. Do I just walk around with the
It's
frog
odd.
and then I found, like, I pick up the frog, I guess, right?
Yeah, I'm glad they didn't make it against the user because it would have been annoying.
That would
So
have been very annoying, yes.
it does make sense. It does make sense.
It's just funny to think about. Like, oh, let me pick up my
It's
giant
just silly.
frog.
Yeah, and also like who's using it? Because like I think it's a 50-point item, right? Scroll of transmogrification.
Now that I have 2 frogs, I will be using it.
Sure.
I have
Well, like
those models.
usually your bound items are like 30, 35 points. So you're using a 50-point item on that? I don't know.
I mean, it'd be, yeah. Anyway,
Seems weird.
I'm going to try it for fun.
You should do it. You should do it.
All right. Next up, we're going to go through Ravening Hordes.
Sure.
We're probably going to hit the armies we know best. Let's just be honest with
Sure.
this. So, thankfully, first up, release the Fanatics, Alex. What happened here?
Yep, they were nerfed in the logical sense. I'm glad they didn't nerf them because of people who complain about them in a too silly of a way. But basically, now you cannot release them if you are fleeing or in a marching column, which is interesting.
Mhm.
But yeah, definitely makes sense. You cannot release them when you are fleeing, and you may release them during start of turn, which it always has been start of turn.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure why they added here, but yeah, you cannot be fleeing and release them, which
Well,
is definitely very gamey.
they're
I've definitely done it.
Yeah, they're changing the last sentence, so that was in the last sentence
Sure.
already, so they just kept it in.
Sure, but yeah, I've definitely had games where I was fleeing, start of turn, I release them, my opponent decides to pursue me, charges them, gets destroyed before catching up to me, I think, and then we're fine. Or maybe
Well, you can't do it anymore anyway. Who cares?
yeah, it doesn't matter. So now you can't do it. Now you can't.
Yeah.
Do it.
Anything else you see here from orcs and goblins? That really,
No.
yeah,
No.
just
Casting spells changed value.
Chaos Dragon getting impetuous, Chaos Knight's getting counter charge. That's a nice little.
Yep.
I like both of those.
So yep, it makes it a bit more even with a good rule and a bad rule.
Yep, kind of makes them out there, giving everything up to speed. So, this one actually is interesting. Diabolic Splendor, which is the strike last effect,
Ooh.
can only be put on infantry or cavalry. So you used to be able to put on your dragon guy and like I'm going to swing first every time. Now he can't go on that. Infantry or cavalry only. That's a good one.
Fair.
Actually, is that Diabolic Splendor? Or maybe that's Enchanting Aura. One of those was that one. Yeah, so
No idea.
either way, it's a good change.
I think Dragon Ogre's increased in points.
Yep, 59
Like to see that.
points. Yep. Skeleton Chariots, 41. I don't know why. Sure.
Sure. Seems cheap.
Yeah.
But whatever.
They are changing all like the power levels to be power level 2 essentially.
Sure, sure.
Or but anyway, let's just keep going through there. The Skull Smasher. That's Orc and Goblin Arcane
It used
Journals.
to be it's the same. It's just
Okay.
I think they cleaned up the wording, but it's the same.
Okay. Anything about the Foated Warpool, Torn to Filth? Oh, that's just going down.
Yeah.
Um, Gotcha. And then nothing from the Accurate X. That doesn't matter for you.
Nope.
Okay, so nothing there. Where's Chaos? Storm's Wrath, Chains of Notes. Storm's Wrath, Strength modifier applies against enemy models wheeler charges turn, sure. Beastman Brayhurts. So okay, here's go. The Dark Coven. I think that's the +1. So to do so, the Bray Shaman or Great Bray Shaman makes a casting roll or dispel roll and may apply a +1 modifier to a roll if one or more friendly models are not fleeing nearby. So it used to be you added 1 for each.
Mm-hmm.
So
You get just +1.
that was just +1. I like the old one. I would rather risk blowing up, but hey, whatever.
Sure.
Banner of the Warped Moon, single use only. So that's the other thing we're gonna see too. All the things that turn off fly are now single use only.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Good. That's huge. That's very important.
Yep. Sepulchral Animus. That's just making the what's it called? The once per turn before making a casting roll, Lich Priest within a mortuary cult could draw upon magical animus. If any nearby undead constructs to do so, nominate a friendly unit that has Nekahara, undead special rule. If it's Lich Priest command range, who's wholly within monsters, infantry, monster, cavalry, blah blah blah, the nominated unit immediately loses a single wound, so +1 to casting. So you can hurt things to get better casting, which is kind of cool. Yeah, that's kind of really it. The rest is, I don't think there's anything. Let's actually, sorry, the FAQs on this. You can a black orc boss take a black orc chariot as a mount in an army made using the orc and goblin tribe's grand army? They cannot.
Sad. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, someone was.
I wish they said yes.
They say yes, but and they did make something silly up. Can Infernal Puppet be used against bound spell? Yes. For Warriors Chaos. And then some other things here. If you have Skin Wolves, can they transmogrify warp form special rule if its character joins a unit? No. Okay, so
It's fair. Yeah, logical things.
yeah, just logical things. All right, Forces of Fantasy errata.
All right.
So yeah, Anvil Doom's power level 2. Great. Casting's famous. You're casting like a level 4 now. That's great.
Yep. That's awesome.
Hammers add Grommel armor to the list of special rules. Holy shit. you want to reroll ones on your two possible 2-up armor guys?
No.
Yes,
I
please.
thought they already had it, but I might be wrong.
I think Hammers got good, I think, in this.
Hammers got really good. 3-up saves, rerolling ones. Yeah. And -1 on their weapons at strength 4. Pretty good.
For the hand weapon, yeah. I can't wait for Matt to find every 2 in the world with them. All right, Trollhammer Torpedo changed the strength characteristic to 5 and replaced Dwarf Crafted with Cumbersome.
Oh, that's heartbreaking.
It's heartbreaking, but that's.
I mean, dwarves were in top tables, so it's not like
yeah.
I don't know if they needed to take the one thing that was good for them.
Yeah, I don't think you needed to take that away. I think you maybe needed to make them minimum size unit 10 or something. I don't know.
Well, now you can't move in, or you get -2 to move and shoot, or you can't move and shoot. One of those.
One of those, yeah.
Yeah, and you're strength 5.
Yeah, who cares?
So you're wounding on 5s against any monster.
Yeah.
Or worse. That's very unfortunate for the one thing they really had going for them, but we'll see.
Now here's something interesting. Anvil of Doom has a dispel range of 24 and may apply +3 modifier to dispel rules.
So, as it always should have been.
Yes, I absolutely love it. Holy crap. Dwarves are going to shut down magic. Magic resists. They'll have plus shooting. That's good. That's so good.
Yeah. I'm excited for dwarves. As somebody who made a 1,000-point dwarf list,
yes,
pretty excited.
I want to get my dwarves out more and more.
Yep.
Empire got a little bit of love here.
Yeah, let's see.
Horde to state troops and veteran state troops of special rules, and then obviously characters are up to 10 and 9 as just because leadership doesn't matter in this edition. So, and then great swords base strength 4, so they're gonna be strength 6.
Pretty cool. Strength 6, AP 2. That's pretty awesome.
Just like everybody else now. It's great.
Yeah, sure.
Royal Pegasus points to 70. Good. That's a good up change there. Because we're on a what's it called? Ratonia now. Sorry. Pegasus Knights 59, and I am so sad. Delete Lance formation from the list of special rules. Now
Interesting.
I'm the only guy that ran Lance formation.
Yeah, nobody's using them that way.
I had my friend Tom, our clubmate, printed me out trays for my 2 units. I have them kit bashed to be landing in Lance formation, and I did it because you could bait him out a little bit easier and kind of control it a little bit better. So I'm like, less. It was a lot of attacks, but it was harder to
Right.
get there.
Right.
But hey, whatever. I'll still run them in the tray and just say it's skirmish and move on with my day.
It's fair.
Falcon Horn, once again, one single use only. Let's see. Now we're on to the Wood Elves, Treeman. No spells from the Lore of Magic. Every Treeman. So okay, so it used to be now all the trees can cast now. So I think there was like one that was like not a caster or
Okay.
whatever. Yeah.
Cool.
All right, I'm reading a lot. You want to check out Woodland Ambush for us?
Sure, yes. Once players have finished placing terrain, a Wood Elf Realms player may place one additional wood measuring no less than 3 inches at its narrowest and no more than 9 inches at its widest point.
Right.
So they gave you dimensions
Yeah.
for your woods.
I'd rather they just reprint the woods and let us use the woods again.
Sure. But hey, now you can make your own woods. So
Well,
I like
to be
that.
fair, the woods I think still fit inside this size.
Oh, sure.
I
sure.
think I'd
That's
have to
good.
double check, but yeah.
Yep.
I
The
want a
one that-
uniform shape, I guess I should say.
Right, right. Yeah, I wonder if somebody's going to try to be gamey with it somehow, but I can't imagine how.
Well,
Just max.
I mean, I could do a 9-inch circle.
Yeah, and you make your wood super dense,
Make
so you
it
literally cannot see through them.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
All
Yeah,
right.
just some points changes to spells, but I will let you take the white lions.
Yes, my favorite thing. So okay, so we're white lions. We're infantry right now. Yeah.
Mhm.
All right, so you charge me. I get 2 ranks of fighting, huh? All right. Well, I don't want to because I've learned with my time with white lions it's all ABC. If you don't charge, you die.
Yep.
And
Yeah,
it's
5-up armor is not great.
right. So I want to be charging. Oh, but I'm not gonna get that second rank. That's kind of annoying. Oh, now I do. Not
Yeah, you
necessarily
do.
rank. I get furious charge on that.
Man,
So good.
that's scary.
Yep. That's
Hand
so
of
good.
Cain, Hand of Cain, double ranks, white lions.
Fury of Cain, not Hand of Cain.
Oh, Fear of Cain. Yeah. Pretty scary.
Pretty scary.
Pretty scary.
I'm excited to bring White Lions out again. I want to do the White Lion army next. I think for High Elves. I might bring out my Illyrian custom army, but regardless, anyway.
Sure.
All right, Arcane Journals. Also, I think there was a change on the dwarves that we might have missed. I forget where it's at. I don't think you can now put it's in the FAQs. Sorry, we'll get there. Arcane Journal. Empire of Man. Delete Guardians of the Temple from list of rules for 2-digit guard. I don't know what that even was.
No idea. Nobody cares.
Yeah.
I don't think.
I think
yeah. Very often.
All right, Arcane Journal High Elves. The White Lion army. Same thing with the woods as the other woods.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's because
I
we
didn't
got
know you could do that.
Well, it's for us. It's not a wood. It's a dangerous terrain, but it's the same shape, the same size, I should say.
Sure.
Actually, no. This says additional wood now. Oh, that's actually better. It wasn't a wood before. Oh,
Pretty cool.
that just made things great. Holy crap! Because they can move through the woods. They don't care.
Yeah.
That's gonna be.
Put it next to another wood and just put that big block there so you don't get shot before you charge. Pretty cool.
Yeah. Changing that to be an additional wood is freaking huge.
No, that's good.
I just realized that because Anyway, my mind's being blown. Oh my gosh, I need to kit bash up a wood now. I'm just gonna grab woods, but anyway. All right, Ring of Fury. It's bound spell power level 1. Just putting him there.
Used to be power level 2, I'm guessing.
I think so.
Yeah, so maybe it's slightly worse. Yeah.
Wood Elf Realms. Just basic things there. I don't feel like reading essentially. Oh,
do you want me to read?
Yeah, go and read the Arcane Journal for the Spiteful Torrent.
All right. So, whilst in play, the template is treated as a difficult terrain. The template scatters d6 during every start of turn subphase. Any enemy unit that moves through the template or that the template moves over suffers 3d6 strength 2 hits, each with an AP of -1. I'm guessing they're just bringing it into
In line.
turns with all the other.
Yes.
Cool.
And,
Moving
and
on.
and I didn't want to read it because I saw the word whilsts.
Sure.
And I'm always tired of that rule. Anyway, FAQs. Here's a big dwarf one. Armor runes on the Anvil Doom. Can I give it to the crew or the Anvil? It's only the crew. So
Yep.
you used to be able to have a toughness 10 Anvil.
Yep.
I mean, you still have crazy tough dwarfs, so you're probably still okay, but still.
Yep. Well, I'm sure the Anvil. What's the toughness on the Anvil typically? It's probably still pretty high.
It's still pretty decent, but like you can make.
So it's just against shooting it, right? So
Yeah.
you can still be toughness 10 in combat, and you're probably toughness 6, I'm guessing.
I don't think it's
otherwise.
toughness 10 in combat 'cause it's on the crew. Dwarves be toughness 5, so you might be 7. You're still great. I think it's +2. Well, I think you can get the +2. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
It's not a big.
It's a subtle nerf, and it's fine.
Right.
All right. Empire Man, you want to take this one? The Griffin standard.
Yes. Does the Griffin standard allow a unit to claim a higher rank bonus than normal for its troop type? Yes. As stated in the item's rules, a unit carrying the Griffin standard can claim a rank bonus of +2 for each extra rank behind the first, rather than usual +1. Meaning a unit with 2 extra ranks could claim a rank bonus of +4 rather than usual +2. Love it.
You want to talk about combat res?
+4, +5, +6, +7. Right? I think that's it.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Because you get 4 from the ranks, you get 1 from close order, you get
banner.
6 from the banner, you get 7 from having more than your opponent.
And you can have war banner in there too for fun.
You can have a war banner in there for 8. Yeah. Heck yeah. Maximize it.
Mm-hmm. Make it.
Plus, put it on Spearman, and all of a sudden you have 2 ranks fighting with.
Yeah.
So
no, you get 3.
Yeah, 3x fighting. Yeah.
3 ranks.
So you automatically have a combat res of +8. So they kill, I don't know, 10 of you. You get 14 attacks back still. Kill a few of them and you win. Yeah, that's pretty good. That's solid.
Gonna go back to the old high elf standby of just fiery convocation that unit and never fight it.
Yeah. Yes.
All right. The Arcane Journal Empire Man is just clearing up a few things here with the characters and the road wardens. Not gonna worry about that too much.
Sure.
Bretonian, this is, I don't know about this one. Can a unit with defensive stakes be hit by impact hits and stomp attacks? Yes. I'm literally bringing a low linear imp wall.
Yeah.
Which stops those things. I don't agree with that. Plus, it's a paid upgrade. Like, that's... Sorry, Bretonia. Sorry.
Just don't take it, basically.
Yeah, I wouldn't take it anymore.
Yeah. That's it. That's weird. Yeah. And like, why are you charging them anyway? You have better targets to charge. Yeah. So like, you could have given them that one.
Yeah. Or if you say like, yeah, they can still be hit by that, but allow me to move my defensive stakes. They mean nothing anyway. Oh, yeah.
Right.
Okay. Lance formation. What happens if like the sides hit because it kind of stick out? Accidental contact. So just kind of clearing that up. I've seen that out there. We've had that issue before at the club too. Sure. It's like, how does this work? And then this last one. You want to answer this last one for us? Hard to see down here. Sorry. Let's zoom in.
Can Corhill, Lion Mane, or a Thracian chieftain join a unit of White Lions of Thrace? Yes.
Yeah, I can't get. It's
who's asking that question? Yeah. What the heck?
Yeah, we're just gonna close that. I'm not even gonna bring that one on screen. Actually,
such a weird. Was there rules that stopped you from doing that?
I think because you have to have the Thracian hunter special rule to join it for like the nobles and stuff, and I think he just didn't technically have it.
Sure. Yeah.
Whatever. It's Corhill. He's gonna be there. Okay. But there we go. How do you feel about this FAQ?
I feel great. I feel 95% great about it. I feel 5% not great because I've been trying to make armies, goblin-heavy armies, and I have no idea what to do now.
Yeah, but that's the fun. That's fun.
It is fun.
It's a brand new world again.
We're gonna figure out what's the best. I've been playing around with a block of 60 goblins and giving them spears and a spider banner, and just be 10 wide. So let's say you kill 10 goblins, I still have 20 attacking back. I don't know.
Yes, that's pretty good.
So we'll see.
I think it's gonna be fun to see the creativity list we start doing ourselves locally and just seeing out there in the wild.
I think so.
Yeah, and I also quick shout out too. I did see on Facebook Val from Square Based is looking to do an upgrade to the Renegade pack as well.
Oh, cool. Makes
to
sense.
make sure things are still in line and all that stuff. So probably look out for
Good.
that on their podcast soon. But yeah, I'm a big fan of this FAQ. It was exciting in all the right ways, even the things that were turned away. It was like, okay, I get it, I understand. Outside of maybe like one or two things, it's like, sure, I'll live with it. I'm not gonna complain too much.
I think one thing I was hoping for is a bigger Empire buff. I really didn't see anything.
Yeah,
Maybe the just infantry being better is buff enough. So we'll see.
we'll see. Yeah,
But
I don't know. I mean, they still have the strongest cannons outside of maybe Grand Cathay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see how
see.
it goes. But yeah, we have all the
Really
rules in our
do.
head permanently, Alex.
We
won't forget them.
It was good to review. It was good to review for sure.
Yeah. But you guys out there, make sure you let us know what your favorite changes or things you didn't like, or if we got something really wrong and that we're just that could happen. But
Sure.
yeah. But yeah, until then, I guess you'll see me and Matt next talking some dwarf rumors and stuff. I don't know. I'm gonna let Big M take over. He's gonna lead it. I'm just gonna be along for the dwarven ride.
Very good. Dwarf time.
And we are back. Well, I'm back. Alex is gone. He's been upgraded to a Dwarven Mountain King.
Yeah.
In a Big M takeover.
Yep. Welcome, all you Warhammers, Warhammies. This is now currently the best episode of the Strength Hammer podcast. I am your guest, Big M, along with the best co-host this side of the old world, Strength Hammer, Chuck more elves.
Yes, sir. That's good. I like it.
So, if everyone's wondering, we were going to record power outage, and I'm like, show must go on. So I'm on my phone.
Yes. Well, no, you're just getting in that Dwarven Mountain vibe. You're in your
That's
hold.
what I meant to say. I'm in a mountain cave.
It looks very much like a traditional American home.
Don't dox me, bro.
I'm not doxing you. Oh my God, he's in America. Shit. Yeah, but Matt is here to take over. He wanted to talk a lot of dwarf stuff, and I was like, let's do it. Let's just do it. So, Matt, what dwarf stuff are we going to be talking about?
Oh, we got everything to talk about. Old world, we got new world, we got AOS, a whole nine. Got rumors ahoy.
All right. Where do we begin?
So,
other than
no.
All
right, I know
no.
You normally start what?
I need to know how your lawn's doing. More importantly, everybody else.
Here's where we're gonna go. All right. Look, this is a dwarf episode. We're not worried about your lawn, okay? We're worried about what's going on under the lawn. How's your 401k?
401k, it's actually doing fine.
There you go. Yeah. All right, mine too. Investments up, baby.
Woo! Stonks. All right.
No, yard is fine. Currently covered in branches.
Various debris.
Thankfully, no trees. That's
good. That's good.
All right, so yeah, we'll start off here. I didn't see them on the episode you covered Brew Brawl. So the hobby that I have is my dwarves. I painted up some new stuff for Brew Brawl. As you can see on the screen now,
yes,
I actually brought my mountain with me and everything so I could use it again. This is the same one I used at NashCon whenever I brought KO. I went with more, again, back then I went with a generic dwarf theme so I could just add terrain based on which army I was bringing. And I think it worked out great for mountain holds.
Oh, no, yeah, it looks great for all the dwarf armies that you have because you base them all the same, which is the smartest thing in the world. Or similar enough, yeah.
Right. If it was up to me, clear bases all the way. But
the worst.
I never hear the end of it from you guys, so fine. I'll put some grit and a random debris thing that I can find so I match rubrics. That's
yes, 100%. Looks good. It's great.
So I think the easiest first thing we'll go current with the new KO reveals.
Okay, yeah.
Which is weird. I was actually looking through some old photos in my phone, and I saw back in January the release schedule.
Okay, yeah.
So at that time it was, coming out right now in January was the Goblins and Soulblight
Right.
and the Path to Glory book, which, we got that we got the Path to Glory book right away, but Soulblight was like a month ago.
Yeah.
And then it said up next, Ideneth and Nighthaunt.
Right. Which just saw Ideneth. Did we see Nighthaunt yet?
No.
Yeah.
They've shown us Khorne and KO.
Which were the next group, along with
Right.
something else. Soulblight, maybe.
Right. I
Or
think people were
Flesh Eater
saying it
Horse.
was Flesh Eaters.
Flesh Eaters, yeah, Flesh Eaters, yeah. It was the wing.
Right. So, all right. So here's KO, Nighthaunt, take a back seat. You're just a bunch of sheets, anyways. No one cares. That's
We make you a new model, you won't notice. Kind of like Fire Slayers.
right. Yeah. It's like Fire Slayers is just gonna be another dwarf with a mohawk. You're just another ghost with a sheet with another rusty weapon. It's
Yep.
All right. So first and foremost, here we have the new KO, where we have a new hero. He's super tricksy because you can't tell whether he's coming or going. That's
Yeah. I don't like the helmet.
No, I think the helmets, I understand what they were trying to go for, but with how busy the design is, it's a bit much.
Yeah, and they're trying to mimic a beard on it. I'm like, it kind of looks kind of silly.
Well, that's the same thing they did on the Chemist.
I guess.
So, well, again, just because they are doing, they're finding new ways to integrate design they've already done, doesn't mean that they did a good job with it. All right.
Yeah.
Now, with that being said, the role of the unit or the hero sounds beyond vital.
Okay. What's he doing?
If he just so again, obviously they don't say exactly what he's doing,
Right.
but if they do what they kind of allude him to be doing with actually just shutting magic down in an area around him,
Oh, that's pretty solid.
well, I'll bring two of them. That's I still think that essentially the Chemist and the Navigator should have dispels at an advantage to combat the spell stuff. That's
Yeah, you're not going to give the KO. They're not going to have spells because they're dwarfs, and they're not going to get
prayers.
Yeah, they're not going to get prayers because they are absolutely against the gods right now. They're like, we don't need you.
Right.
So you need to give them.
They are making amends with Grugny right now, so
They are, but I'd rather see them just kind of come in, like you said, and just no.
Yeah.
I don't have magic, but neither do you.
Right.
Unless maybe you're Teclis or Alariel, or God or something,
Right.
Then maybe.
And again, like I said, I mean, if there's one army that they have to go against where they actually have to try casting, I'm not too worried about it.
Right.
Like I said, overall, the model itself, it's fine. We'll see where what we can do with that helmet. That might be a little too much to just do a head swap, but
yeah,
it is what
it is. I love everything else about it. I like the suit. I like the little claw arm. I love the balloon on this guy much better than anything else.
I love the no flight stand.
Yes, I went no flight stand on my whole KO force, and I'm glad that GW finally caught up to my level.
Yep. So now we have a brand new unit, which the KO desperately needed.
Melee is this melee?
So essentially, what this is you didn't get the new dwarf DLC in Total War, did you?
I don't believe so. No.
Well, I guess you don't need it. I think that just gives you access to the Legendary Lord, but you still get access to the new units. So they actually came out with, I forget what the unit's called, but they're basically swashbuckler dwarves.
Yeah.
So these are essentially light armor, faster Arcanauts.
Okay. But what's
so they have a saber and they have a pistol, which again, I'm like, you already have a unit that does that.
Yeah.
Except for that unit is in a block of 10 and this is a block of 5. And then they also don't have a big dumb ball on their back.
They have a tiny little, yeah. There's a big dumb ball in the back of these, which is fine. I get it. I mean, they're going to be moving quick. That would be pretty
quicker.
exciting.
So you're going to have something that's slower than an Endrin Master and faster than an Arcanaut. So 8 inches, 6 inches.
8 would be nice, at least.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, it's just not. It's not what KO needs.
You know what KO really needs? I'm going to bring it back to us for a second. KO needs to have one book with Fire Slayers, so you can have all the good dwarf stuff together instead of 2 half armies that are okay, unless you bring a very specific build.
Well, so as far as that goes, I actually engaged with someone on Reddit just this week about. He was asking about bringing Fire Slayers into KO, and I was like, I love the idea. The issue is with KO, they're shooting, especially now. Like last edition, you had some wiggle room because it was so good, but now it's so bad that every point that isn't put directly towards shooting, you're exponentially damaging your army. Like I was putting together this whole thing where it was like 2 full units of Thunderers in an Ironclad with a Chemist. You're looking at, I believe it's 30 damage in 1 round of shooting on average.
Oh, okay.
Against a 4-up armor. And that is, I believe it was like 1,200 points.
Okay.
So it's like, if you go, okay, well, I'll put some Fire Slayers in. Unfortunately, they got rid of all of the Fire Slayer defense bonuses. So now, if you bring a Hearthguard near a hero, you're looking at a 5-up, 6-up, 2 wounds a pop.
Okay.
And then you're also like 300 points for a 10-man unit.
Yeah, but what about if you had some a boat full of Berserkers, baby?
Like I said, I mean, honestly, I don't know. Like,
here's the thing: they're gonna write bad rules for all the dwarves anyway. Might as well
Yeah,
give you the
yes.
option to put them together.
Right. Well, like I said, I honestly would have no problem if they did want to do a KO book where it was, you know, the combined dwarves, where they do it kind of like orcs, where you have a KO book, a Fire Slayer book, and then a third list that you can kind of mix them together.
Oh yeah, that's how they would do it, which would make sense.
Yeah, and I'd be fine with that as long as each army got its focus, because like I think Ironjaws is very much a full army.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it was. They just put the books back together probably to reduce skews, and why not? Yeah.
And like I said, I think that's fine. That's not really. I'm not too terribly concerned about that. But like, in all honesty, what they really need is, and I think they could fix it with the addition, like how you set up your regiments. Like, typically, I'm not a fan of the regiments. It looks like I got power.
There we go.
I'm not a fan of the regiments, but with KO, I think there's something you can do. Where what you could do is you could drop the price of the boats significantly.
Right.
If it was, you take a hero and you can assign a boat to that hero.
Oh, sure.
Because now it's like, okay, well, you have to bring another regiment with another hero just to bring another boat. So even if they were cheaper than what they should be, you're limiting yourself in another manner without having to sacrifice points. Because like the boats are incredibly necessary,
right,
but only add survivability to the army. They don't add.
There's no gunship. There's no real there is one that should be the gunship, but it's just not really a gunship.
Right. All right. So anyways, like I would love to see if they went that route, then they could add something a little tankier. Like if they decided that, hey, you know, because again, all the dispossessed kits are in Old World. I'd be shocked to see them come out in the next Cities book.
Yep.
And so if they rolled the dispossessed into a KO-ified unified army, so you have like ground iron breakers that are techie, steampunky. Like,
Yeah, and you're talking like resculpt. Don't just port him over. Like, no, let him go and redevelop what it means to be a depossessed who have lived so long, and they've seen these other dwarves succeed. And how do they pull from those cultures now?
Right. And that's where I'd like to see it. I don't think they'll go that route, at least not yet, just because of
Well, it's only been 10 years. You got to slow down, Matt. I mean, no need to get nuts over here, even though Sigmar is the place where you can.
Right, exactly. I mean, that's kind of I try not to get too salty about the fact that every elf army was created after the dwarf armies and have 2 to 3 times the amount of units. That's not, I don't. Regardless, so this unit, I'm glad we're getting something. I don't think we're going to get anything else other than this and the next thing that we'll go to in a minute. But I have to be honest, these are probably my least favorite sculpt out of any Age of Sigmar sculpt that's come out to date.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anything that I like less. And like nothing's coming to mind.
Right. Especially if you limit it to models that were created for Age of Sigmar.
Yeah. Like I say, I think it's because it's a dwarf. I want to see a dwarf on the ground. I feel like especially this one lady right here, she's clearly, that's a Votan head. I've assembled Votan. That's a Votan head. These are trying so hard, like, to be Votan, it feels like, more than anything else. I'm like, no, just be dwarves. Put your feet on the ground or put it on the boat. That's it.
And so just because it's your channel and I don't have to worry about the fallout, I'm gonna address the female dwarf issue.
What's wrong with that?
So I personally don't care too much. The issue is people do care about it online, so we're going to address it.
All right.
I think the sculpts are fun.
Yeah. No.
If anything, there's one guy that just has a mustache and then has like a thing covering his chin. That's the worst sculpt of the group.
That's such a fire slayer, or not fire, chaos dwarf sculpt. Like, I like this one on the left here. She has the ponytail.
Here's the issue that I have with having female dwarves. It's based solely in the lore. Now, if they update the lore, which they probably did somewhere, they just haven't written it in yet, I don't care. The issue is back in fantasy, which they've never come back and corrected. They basically said out of 10 baby dwarves, 1 is female.
Yeah, that's old world though. I mean, like,
right.
you have to assume so much in Sigmar is just naturally different.
Right.
Because don't forget, elves were a dying race back in old world.
Well, yeah, but
now they're not. They're not at all.
Now they've had enough time for their T levels to raise, and
they were good to go. They had some steak.
So like that's my only thing is you're putting one of your most precious resources on the front lines. That's my biggest concern.
Well, I think honestly, it's more of a lack of the fact, like, there's still like that old mentality. I think when they're sculpting a lot of the dwarf stuff, and it was just like, yeah, if they had more forethought at the start, they could have been mixing it a little bit more, like they did it with the elves, like for like the Lumina. There's male and female mixed in very finely.
Oh, absolutely.
I think they didn't show it so far, but like I wouldn't say in Age of Sigmar that they're a resource and like very rare like they used to be in Old World.
Yeah, and again, by resource I mean very important, very special.
Oh yeah.
And like I said, let's just go with the correct assumption of nobody remembers that lore and it's different in Age of Sigmar, then it's fine.
I assume it's different in Age of Sigmar at this point.
Right. Okay, now scrolling on to the last.
I just think they should give them some mutton chops at least. They're dwarves still.
All right. So last and least, we got our porta potty. Yay! Now we know where dwarves go to the bathroom.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, perfect. I mean, it's a flying porta john. I would love it. I would say one, I hate the smoke.
Yeah, well, I'd rather have smoke than a
yes. So that's perfectly fine. The other thing, this is the first, well, I guess second army terrain thing that I don't mind.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot easier to. Well,
it makes sense why it's here. It makes sense why it's here.
Right.
They can bring this. This flies.
Right. Exactly. So, like I said, we'll see what the rules are. As of right now, like I said, I'm not overly impressed with it, but I knew we were getting something because everyone's getting terrain.
I
So
know, yeah, unfortunately, I'm still against terrain,
yeah.
but like as for armies, but this is one I don't mind.
Yeah, I said it's fine. It's non-offensive. It matches the theme. I'm good with it.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I know you and Alex just got done talking about the FAQs,
Yes.
but I got to bring my dwarf perspective in on things.
Oh, 100%. Please do. I was talking up dwarves. I'm excited for them with all these changes.
So what's very interesting is how everything plays out. So there's 2 units. There's 4 units in the book that super benefit from the hand weapon and shield parry rule, along with the ability to swap your weapon um, between combats.
Okay.
That is your dwarf warrior. They automatically come with hand weapon, and then they can also have a great weapon and in addition to.
Okay.
Same thing with thunderer, the quarreler, and drumroll, hammer.
I'm gonna say there's one more. Hammers is my most excited one for sure, but
Yes.
you know what my second actually would be? Rangers.
Oh yes, that is
Because
true.
they can do great weapons and swords, and I think in them appearing on the back line, oh, I don't want that. I don't want that at all.
Yeah, that's true as well. That's very true. I forgot about them just because I just take them for granted.
Now, not anymore. You have plenty.
I guess well, I didn't look up the miners, but I don't think they could take shields.
We'll keep talking. I'll check that on my phone right now, actually, for you.
But yeah, so unfortunately, the Royal Clan warriors, they have to choose between a hand weapon or the Grommel axes. And then on top of that, we did get a little bit of a kick in the shin because they did confirm you cannot put runes on a Grommel axe, which we kind of knew, but
Yeah. No shields on them, on miners.
okay.
Just great weapons.
I didn't think so.
Yeah.
I didn't think so. So still, they will just stay in fun games.
Yes.
Again, then you have.
Yeah,
So at least
I did forget about the no runes on the Grommel. We did forget to mention it, actually, so I'm glad you brought that up.
So that's a little sad because I actually got a lot of gas out of that at ABB because I gave my hero. I gave the sergeant in my Royal Clan Warrior list. I gave him the Rune of Fury, giving him 1 extra attack.
Right.
And I was just shocked at how much that 1 little extra attack did. Like, even if it was like, oh, my sergeant issues a challenge. Oh, okay, well, mine does too.
Oh.
Okay, I get 3 attacks. Wait, what?
Yes, sir.
But like I said, I think Iron Drakes, even though they have full plate and shield, so they can't go beyond the 3, being able to attack from a 2nd rank with weapon skill 5, I think puts them with some importance. Now, unfortunately, there's no way to take them as core, so I think they're probably still going to take a backseat to hammerers.
Yeah. So you're saying hammers are only core in the Royal Host, right?
I don't think they're core anywhere.
They're core
It's just you just want to take them. There might be some trickery if you take a. No, I don't think there is.
Maybe not. I'm misthinking that. Okay.
I know it's Longbeards and the Royal Clan warriors in a Royal Clan army. But the hammers, I said, now that like, if you charge them, give them the Rune of Hesitation, the Rune of Confusion, switch over to your shield and hand weapon, and now you have Grommel armor. So now you're 3-up, re-rolling 1s. Your opponent loses all their charge bonuses. They make a disordered charge, or you charge them and get +1 strength.
Yeah, it's.
So like I said, I think they're still probably a little too expensive to rely on heavily, but if you've been wanting to play them, now's the time.
Yeah, no, it's me and Alex were walking through it, like with the way the changes work to like mounts attacking and combat and wait, my high elf dragon, my star dragon, it's wounds 9, so it's strength 9. So I already lost that. So you're +1 combat because you're close order probably, and you win that. You have ranks. You have a banner. You might even have a war banner. And speaking of which, you'll challenge out with your champion. And
Yep.
so if you are, and at best, let's say I do 4 wounds. That's perfection. Which, let's say average, I'm going to do 2 wounds to you. So no, and I kill you in that challenge. That you're 1 wound champion, and then all of a sudden my dragon
Right.
doesn't get to attack, can't stomp because stomps are only in challenges. I don't have impact hits. If you're at least 5 combat res, you beat my dragon every time.
Yep.
And it's just like,
Yep.
well, shoot, okay.
Now, do you know what wood dwarf unit got the biggest buff, in my opinion, in the entire game?
Tell me.
Well, we're going to do a hard shift, and we're going to chaos dwarves with black orcs.
Oh yeah.
Motley Crue makes that an unbelievable unit now, because
Okay.
now what I can do is I can take my units, I can let you charge me, or I can charge you and get +1 attack on my front rank. Whole front rank is all additional hand weapon. Second rank is all great weapon. I let you charge me. You come into me, and then I go, hey, these 4 guys up front, they're all going to be using their hand weapon and shield.
And
So now they're going to be on a 3-up regardless, just because they are in full plate and now so a shield.
yeah. So the
And
guys,
then you
guys
then-
behind are swinging the great weapons.
Right, and then you have great weapons coming from behind. So even if you do however many wounds you need to do to get rid of the front row, you still have the back row attacking.
Well, so you technically want the 3rd rank to have great weapons, because the other
Well,
2 will move forward.
Well, there's no step up yet, so and they are very expensive. So the way I
Yeah.
have it set up, I just have it as a block of 18 with 9 in the front, 9 in the back.
Yeah, that works.
And so if you're able to cut through that much beef, I ain't winning anyways.
That's fair. That's fair.
But like I said, I'm able to put the Razor banner on them, which gives the entire unit Armor Bane 1 or Armor
Actually,
Bane 2.
You know what you should do? You should increase that to 21 and do 777.
Well, the issue is points. It's a tight list.
Yeah. I'm not thinking about any chaos dwarves yet.
But yeah, all right. So let's move on over to rumors.
Ooh, okay. All right. So what do we got for rumors? Like, what's going on because there's the big rumor for Fire Slayers that I got us all like, what's going on with that?
So this one is, I'm going to put this one is substantiated from an anonymous source. Now, here's the issue. The only thing we know is that the rumor states no battle tome. So that we are not going to get a book.
For Fire Slayers.
We are not going to get a book that says Fire Slayer battle tomes.
Right. No, they're still getting love. They got their Scourgiger and their Soggy War Scrolls.
Right.
They're not being forgotten.
Okay.
The Magmadroth one was good.
Yeah, but for the amount of points he is, the amount of Hearthguard you could take in that amount, like it's rough. It was great. I was appreciative of what we got. I'll put it that way.
Yeah.
Now, so essentially what this means, because if the army was going to get swatted, that would just be the rumor, is they're going away.
Yeah. Which would be really dumb, I feel. Like, yeah. I understand Beastmen to a point, but not, I mean...
Right, well, because they wanted them in Old World, and...
Right, but, yeah...
For whatever reason, they have the burger guy fighting the nuggets guys. Like...
I know. Well, trust me, that every podcast, that's what we complain about. Like, guys, like, GW, just... Stop stepping on your own dicks. That's all I can say. I don't know.
Right. You guys really need to bury the hatchet, move along, and realize that you're one company, and that if I buy a Forge World model, your stock goes up just as much as if I buy GW model.
Right.
Like
Because let me tell you, I've seen plenty of people buy Sigmar models for Old World. I've seen
Yep.
I've seen plenty of people who have Old World models that they've brought up to Sigmar. And guess what? I know 4 different people who bought Grand Cathay to make a Cities of Sigmar army. And I also know more. I know more people that bought Cathay just for that. Speaking of which, I forgot to mention this. May I interlude for a moment?
Of course.
Successful financial mistake was made. It wasn't a mistake. It was budgeted for, but and I did mention it briefly, but I didn't really actually call it out. But I was able to secure while away this weekend on pre-order. I got the match play guide, Grand Cathay Arcane Journal, cards and dice, and 1 of each thing. So the Longma, the Gatekeepers, the Battalion Box, the Sentinels, and the Balloon.
I saw a picture of the Sentinel next to a regular model. I did not expect it to be that big.
I think it's as big as a Gargan. It's It's $162 like full retail, so it's the same cost about. I think it's just as big.
Well, no, the megas are now 210.
3D printers go burr on that one, I suppose, but
Same thing, but yeah, same thing with the lantern ship, whatever it's called.
that lantern's huge.
That thing is way too big.
I know. I'm going to go up to Square Based. Me and Alex bought tickets for the Square Based tournament up in Toronto that Val's running end of this year, and I'm glad we're driving because that balloon's going to be in its own baby car seat to get up there.
Have to get one of those little U-Hauls to hide in the back.
Yeah, I know. Shoot, I shouldn't have committed to this army. Oh well. Anyway, sorry. Back to the dwarf.
Yeah. So in my opinion, even though the squatting of the army is, I feel like the rumors would just be the armies being squatted.
Correct. Yeah.
But I still feel like that's the most likely. Just because of the way the rumors worded. Like if the Fire Slayers are getting rolled into something else, I feel like that would just be the rumor. Or honestly, I just don't know if they know what they're doing.
I think to me, when I heard that rumor, like at first I was like, what? But like my mind was, are they getting rid of the army? But then, like you said, the way it's worded is not. I think that they finally realized, and it was fine for a while, but with the size of the game systems now, how many armies there are and all that sort of stuff, I think both from the community standpoint, the customers, as well as the internal team making books, sculpting, and all this stuff, I think everybody realized that this 3-year cycle isn't sustainable with the current size of these games.
Yeah.
Now, like Old World could do it because most of these armies are already out and are not really adding a bunch of new stuff, or they're just bringing back old stuff. So it's possible. But like, I mean, raise your hand, like in the chat. Let us know in the comments below. Like, raise your hand in chat. We're not streaming. I've been watching too many streams lately. Let us know in the comments below if you're tired of 5 wound heroes as your new thing. Look, at least with we're getting manifestations or terrain. At least it's different. Yeah. But I have a feeling there's fatigue inside and out for the 3-year cycle. So, and that's why I'm like, okay, yeah, maybe they're just going to slow some things down. And
yeah, we could easily go to a 4 or 5 year cycle, easy.
Right. Plus, also, we just
after 4th edition.
I'll say 4th edition was a big upheaval from 3rd, as far as the structure of the game, the core structure, the core flow, I guess, however you want to call it. Which leads us to believe that the next one won't be as big. So the Fire Slayers will be able to just carry through until they get a book with maybe an FAQ.
Right. Speaking of 4th edition, I would like to state that the Big M Power Hour predictions so far have come true. One, I did say within 6 months, none of us will be playing Age of Sigmar.
Not regularly, no. Maybe I might play once a month.
And then I also I gave myself, I didn't overshoot. I said by December there is going to be a major rules overhaul, which I absolutely consider the most recent GHB a rules overhaul with the entire system of scoring points being redone.
Yeah, the one of the gentlemen I know who's involved with you know, the from the community standpoint with the game very highly. Um, Before this GHB came out, because I was like, I was, you know, he's like, hey, where have you been? I'm like, you know, I'm enjoying Old World. This edition's not really doing it for me. It's like I still love it. I'm not running away, but you know, it's like just that's where my heart is. It's like I get it. I said, but like, you know, new GHB looks promising, all that stuff. He's like, the new GHB is where this edition really begins, and I feel he's right.
Yeah, yeah. Like I said, I mean, personally, I still have a lot of the same grievances I did with the last episode that I did where I talked about them, and I just don't see. I don't see there's a way to get this edition to a place where I would be comfortable playing it. So, like I said, I'll probably just be playing with you guys whenever you guys go, hey, you want to play a game AOS? Like, all right, I'll do that. But I don't see me like calling you up being like, hey man, I gotta get a game of AOS in, man. It's killing me.
Yeah, I know. And like I said, even too, like I'm not really planning on going afar for Sigmar tournaments right now. Cause like I said, the edition, I like this new GHB a little bit better. From what I've seen, I still have to play a game with it, but I'm not prepping for a tournament, and the only tournaments we have are local. Went to the one, I was only able to go for one day because of what was going on in life. And this other one, Ben out there reached out to me. He's like, hey, like here's, you know, we get a ticket, like we got room, all this sort of stuff, and make sure you get in early. And I looked at it, I'm like, hey, so I'm leaving for vacation then. So I don't know if I will get to a full 2-day Sigmar tournament this year at least.
Yeah, I was planning.
Not that I'm trying real hard.
Yeah, I was originally planning on going to this one as well, but I also expected the KO book to be out by now. I mean, in January, whenever they say coming soon, I assumed 6-7 months was gonna be soon to them, but clearly the metric system runs a little differently with the calendar.
Well, the yeah, and then, like to be fair, a lot of the old world stuff for the longest time, I'm like, it's gonna be slow rolled out. I expect the Grand Cathay in November. Like, no, let's go.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay.
Well, that's another option that another thing that I'm thinking about with Fire Slayers. Like another one of the possibilities of that rumor is it has nothing to do with anything. It's just production has not sped up since the pandemic, and there's still something is still holding them back, and so they're good.
I would say, to be honest, though, I think there's still, I'm sure there's still people arguing that old world's dead within GW for some reason, even though it's clearly not. I don't know that for certain. I just feel that's probably going on somewhere in there. But I do think that they, at least enough people of the right positions have recognized and were shocked at how big old world has been, that I think that they probably shifted some resources to it to keep the hype going and capture more of that market as it's still hot, because we're still very hot as a game. So maybe some stuff for other game systems have been pushed, because like I can't 40K feels like their releases have slowed down too. The only thing that hasn't felt like it's slowed down is old world. So like maybe they're just a slight shift, and you know, eventually we'll have an old world drought and we'll be getting tons of Sigmar and 40K again. Like here's 18 battle tomes. Okay, go.
I will tell you, I do feel bad for the 40K folks, because like there's just nothing. There's nothing for months. And then like I think we had 1 month where it was just all 40K every day for the entire month. And then it's just back to normal.
Yeah, like I sit there going like, is my Eldari book out yet? No, I have the index cards. Just and I have to double check.
Yeah. Well, like that's one of the things that kind of I'm kind of torn on. I don't necessarily have a horse in the race, but where I'm going with this is with Horus Heresy.
Yeah. It's a great. The current edition's great. I love it.
Well, so again, so we played Middle Earth, the previous edition. You know, not
fun,
an incredibly long time ago, and it was great. And the current edition is great outside of the list building, which I could see improved, but it's fine.
Yeah, to be fair, playing like I have the list I will just run.
Right.
So I'm fine, and I can say in my head, I'm happy to play Middle Earth a lot more. I really like this edition a lot.
And personally, I think one of the reasons why Middle Earth is great is because they don't touch it.
That's 100% true, and we can point to many other game systems of Games Workshop where that has been true.
And I feel like that was the purpose of Horus Heresy. Now, again, the Horus Heresy community might go, shut up, you idiot, we need more stuff.
Sure.
But I don't know how many variations of a Lehman Russ tank you need.
Well, Lehman Russ would be
Well,
guard
there's no
anyway.
Lehman Russ yet, but you know what I mean. Whatever
Yeah.
your pattern auxilla tank is.
I think like Old World is. This is all just thoughts and views and what I've seen. Like I think Old World's broader than Horus Heresy. Like I enjoy Horus Heresy. There's 3 or 4 of us that have armies in my local area, and like 2 are recent armies essentially. That seems like that when Alan Bly was around, rest in peace and all that, and he was really getting that going. The community really rallied around what he was doing, and it was a very, very small. Like think of like Age of Sigmar 1.0 when we were all there. It was very small, very tight, and kind of like a redheaded stepchild a little bit. But however, Sigmar grew, but we wanted it to grow. That was the intention,
Right.
and it worked. Whereas Horus Heresy, I don't think they ever really. Not everybody, I don't know, but I don't think a big group of them wanted it to grow. Because when it went from Forge World to Plastic in a lot of ways, there's a whole big thing where they were just angry because like, oh, well, now there's people getting this game for cheap, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, just because medicine got cheaper doesn't mean you're not healed. All right, just deal with it. You know what I mean? So like, I think there's a different core group of thought processes in the Horus Heresy, wrong or right. But I think it's going to remain stagnant. So those people will buy everything.
Right. Yeah.
They will want more all the
I
time. Whereas me, like I have my army. I looked at the Saturnine stuff. I'm like, those are neat. I'm not gonna buy them. I don't care. I have my army. It's fine.
I have to say, whoever sculpted those Terminator armor, the new Saturnine,
Yeah.
give them a raise.
Oh yeah,
They took one of the dumbest designs in Games Workshop history and made it look badass.
Yes. I especially like the Dreadnought one. That's
Right.
that's the one
That
where I'm
was
like, I
badass
love
too.
that one. Yeah.
But I remember whenever I was still working at the Warhammer store, and someone came in and they brought those old Terminator models that were on the 25 mil
Yeah.
and put them in a Space Wolf army and ran them as Wolf Guard. And then we're like, and again, this was 11 years ago, back whenever GW was like, it's our product. That's the base it came with. That's the base it's supposed to be on.
Yeah.
But anyways, so where I was going with that prior to my derailment, I think one of the possible things is they're just so overworked that not everyone's going to get a battle tome this edition.
Yeah, I'm sure the fatigue's there. Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, I don't think it's going to mean anything. And plus, on top of that, like I said, I was looking at Honest Wargamers stats before this.
Okay.
And they released some earlier this month, and they said for the past 6 months there has been 44 Fire Slayer players.
Okay. Well,
among their
stats, has he mentioned has like tournament participation dropped at all with this edition?
So it's actually up.
It's up. Okay.
Yeah, and again, it's interesting. Like, there's a whole debate there on, what does that mean? Does that mean that we're the grognards and the edition's good, or does that just mean blah blah blah? Personally, I think it is the hobby's still growing, and they could have done anything, and it would still be growing.
That's probably a fair point. Yeah,
that's my.
No,
we can debate the whole.
Yeah, I don't think, at least in Sigmar, I don't think any one group of people are going to swing anything at this point.
Right. Now, like I said, so the other option is it gets rolled into KO,
which I'd be a fan of.
Or, now this is going to lead into rumor number 2.
Okay.
Unsubstantiated, unreliable sources were talking about kind of what I was talking about before, how the dispossessed are going to get pulled out of cities. and they're stating that Fire Slayers are going to get rolled into that.
Into cities? Well,
No.
okay.
Cities is going to come down, dwarf cities, and Fire Slayers. They're both going to leave their respective books and make a new book.
See, why I'm very certain that that's inaccurate. Months ago, there was a rumor leaked picture of the city's index or glossary, and it showed the dwarfs still there, the depossessed still there. Only the dark elves were gone. Now I don't know how accurate that leak was, if that was like a clever Photoshop, but
right.
Yeah, I would lean more towards not that happening.
And I agree with you. I would put this one at like a 12% chance of happening. And the simple fact is, this again goes off of feelings and vibes for me. I think whenever I sit back and think of things, whenever I think about who's the Dark Elves in AOS, Daughters of Cain.
And then a Malarian eventually.
Right. Who's the High Elves?
Tyrion Teclis.
Lumineth. Right. Like, so who's the Dwarven Mountain Holds? KO.
Yes.
In G-Dub's mind, those are the dwarves, and the Fire Slayers are the alternative. And so I think if they were to pull the Dispossessed from the Cities book, they're going to go into the KO book, not the Fire Slayers. I don't see them doing that.
Yeah, I think too. I mean, let's be honest. A Depossessed is not going to be as comfortable with either one of those armies as far as just a dwarf being a dwarf. But obviously, the Fire Slayers have a different something's going on because they are all bigger.
Right.
Whereas Depossessed look a lot like the same size as the KO.
So I was trying to find information on that.
I would assume it's the runes and stuff, you know?
Well, here's what's interesting. So every source I can find, which again, there's very little source on their size in the battle tomes.
Yeah.
However, if you look at the Cubicle 7 information on the Age of Sigmar role-playing game, they are the same size as everything else.
Okay, so just a sculpting variance, and they just have to keep going with it. Sure.
That's what I think it is. And now, again, a lot of people are going to say, well, they made those books on their own, blah, blah, blah.
Well, no, actually, there's a Black Library story, but it's one following around Grombadil. And there was a Slayer who shamed himself by essentially ordering a flea to save his hold. And so the runes, out of shame, melted out of him. So he had scars, but and everyone just thought he was a dwarf after that point.
Right.
Like he was just running around. And he became, outside of Gartrek, the first true Slayer again.
Right.
In Grombadil's name. So I get, and no one ever said he was bigger. It was just like he's just a dwarf.
Exactly.
Okay. So
and on top of that, I was going to go to the other point that both, since both you and I follow like development of any sort of GW game, like video game or something, or something like a role playing game, we always follow the development diaries. And the one thing every developer always says is how stringent Games Workshop is to make sure that it follows their ideal.
Yes, that's very true.
So in Space Marine 2, all the guns had to look right, all the Space Marines had to be the right size, and same thing with Fire Slayers in the TTRPG. So that's what I'm going to go with, an assumption until I hear definitive otherwise.
That's fair. No, I think it's fine.
So, like I said, most likely, I think I'll rank them. I'll put number 1 is just not getting a Battletome this edition. We'll get one next. Number 2, they're going to get rolled, or I think number 2, they'll get discontinued. Number 3, they'll get put into KO.
I think rolling them into KO before discontinued.
Again, now
I think it's
just what I think the most likely to least likely, not my preference.
Right. I think I agree with you, except for I flopped us back to. I think it's just not one this edition. The strain is there, and 2, if they ever did anything, it would put them with KO, because all of a sudden that army becomes much more interesting, fun to write for them, and they can still keep selling models.
Well,
Discontinuing it just
so
feels, man, that would hurt.
if they discontinue, I guarantee you what's going to happen is those are going to become the new Slayer models. for
Oh yeah,
Old
no,
World.
they'll get repurposed, but it's just
Yeah.
the thing that's just when Beastman got pulled out in like Iron Jaws, we have Beastman player in Iron Jaws or not Iron Jaws, Bone Splitters. When they got pulled out and they told like, hey, they're going to be discontinued, we have multiple people in our area that play those, and all of them were just like, yeah, it's been a good run, but I get it. Taking Fire Slayers out would I actually think hurt, because remember when that first book came out, you know, and we were like, whoa, what are the Fire Slayers? And like, they're kind of chaosy, maybe they're working. It's like, what the heck? It was so fascinating, and like, I think it would hurt too much to take out.
Yeah.
I think they failed to really, because they were early too. They definitely failed on the let's get weird with it that Sigmar is allowing.
Yeah.
Like KO, I think reached that. Let's get weird with it. Yeah, absolutely, it works. Like some of those early armies just had that issue. Now some I think were a design choice. I think Daughters Khaine was chosen to not get super weird with it. They did. Like snakes are weird, but I guess not normal for me at this point. But
Yeah, I think that what's interesting is I think the snakes are a natural evolution.
yeah, it's part of the yeah, I agree. Yeah. Like I said, but like I think there's different armies where they're like, let's get weird with it. And they just, and since KO or Fire Slayers were so early as far as the army coming out, that they didn't have time for it. So they could have been just old, end time sculpts that never came out. Who knows? I mean, someone does. We'll find out in 30 years when someone's like on a podcast talking about it.
Now, there is a fourth option that I just remembered about that will lead into the next rumor.
Okay.
The Fire Slayers are going to get rolled into Chaos Dwarves. I give this a 0% chance.
Yeah. At best, I think they get a regiment. Yeah, it's
I can't imagine it, just because even if they're supposed to be laborers, they would do something. Like they would have new sculpts or something.
Well, if you look at the Fire Slayers, there is very much a Chaos Dwarf influence on some of the design aspects, right? Like some of the jagged edges, the lack of the mustache. Like they're not everywhere, but some of the earliest sculpts, I look at that and like, there's slight Chaos Dwarf influence into it. Nothing extreme, but I wonder if the intention early on was to use them as sort of a go-between. You know what I mean? Like they're Chaos Dwarf Slayers, so like, but like a very different style, and then eventually they just went all good guys. Like as far as the lore team deciding where they should go, but I feel like early on they could have went and become like kind of what you're saying, like part of the Chaos Dwarfs or like a vanguard of them.
And like I said, I don't think that's going to happen. They might do something to make them mesh, but even then I would be surprised. Because at the end of the day, despite all of their prostitution for Urgold, they still have lines in the sand somewhere. Like,
well, yeah, right. But those lines came later in the lore.
Yes. But anyways, that leads on to the last rumor of the Dowie Czar, the Chaos Dwarves entering Age of Sigmar.
You sure they're not going to Old World?
I am about 98% sure.
Are you sure? Or is this the army that the Special Design Studio and the Books and Box Games kiss and make up, and they go like, you know what? You put on whatever base you want, guys. Go have fun. Write some rules. Let's get it.
If they did both, that's fine. But there's at least a 98% chance that they are coming to Age of Sigmar. Whether they will only be Age of Sigmar, I won't speculate on that. But not only is this from the most relevant and accurate leaker that's online, I also personally made a contact with somebody who I will not name, and they confirmed that essentially the army has been ready for over a year, but has not been released because, again, the studios keep fighting on who gets the army. Obviously, Age of Sigmar at least won the battle on keeping them in Age of Sigmar, because that is what those what the images they've been showing at the end of each of the reveal shows.
They are very chaos dwarfy. You're right. You're right.
It is. So the first one was essentially, it was just an image of a Shut, and the second one was the wing of a bull Taurus.
Okay.
So the projected timeline is either their April window next year or their July window of next year.
Okay. So, and now it would be exciting to get a dwarf army being the new army as opposed to Malarian and Tyrion. And actually, that would give me hope that they would actually just... I mean, Tyrion's obviously going to be part of Teclis's The Lumineth book. It's all in one.
Mhm.
But I also have hope that they put Malarian and Marathi in a book together. Kind of like everything else, where it's like, hey, they're two distinct armies, but you can do a little intermixing with this version too.
I would be surprised to see them come out in 4th edition.
I would too at this point. Maybe at the end. One of them.
I would expect them. Well, kind of. I've been talking about this one for a while now. I would hope, not expect, 5th edition. We get like a dual box of essentially Tyrion versus
Malarian.
Malarian. I couldn't remember which one was Old World, which was AOS. So
they actually in the Old World rulebook, they've kind of retconned him back to Malarian and all of it.
Okay, so now he's always Malarian.
He's
so
always been Malarian. Yeah.
Sure. And because again, I think what you could do is you could literally do both of those armies just by expanding Lumineth and Daughters of Cain. And at that point, I would probably think about switching the Daughters of Cain to like the Umberneth. The Umberneth branding.
Yeah, I mean it would be. Yeah, it'd be the Umberneth, and then just like the Cults of Cain and whatever Malarian's is called. Yeah.
Right. And like I said, I think you could easily do both armies. Like, so if you look at the Tyrion side, you add Tyrion, you add what would he go? Would he be Phoenixes?
He'd be if you look at the design motif on the banner, it looks like it would, and like with the Phoenix just dying, I think it would be a Phoenix Dragon combo beast.
Okay, so all you do is get him some sort of flying cavalry.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And then just get him some more sword masters, or even they would just use the current sword masters as the core.
Yeah, like I said, flying cavalry for sure for him, and maybe like obviously him, and then maybe like a lesser hero that's on a big beastie.
Oh, I guess what they would end up doing is they would probably, like I said, for the heroes it's hard to speculate because they can pull whatever out of anywhere. But they'd probably have your central elemental beast be that dragon phoenix thing.
Oh yeah.
And then your flying cav would actually probably be closer to the angel elves, because they have talked about that a little bit.
Yeah, I mean we'll see, but I think flying cavalry is definitely what he would get, and then it would be that fire creature.
And then as far as the Umberneth,
actually no, Teclis didn't come with any. He has his own beast, but he's not associated. He's associated with all of them. So with Tyrion. So I think there might be a character that's on a specific beast or something. Anyway, continue. Sorry.
I mean, that's true. Well, again, if you think about the mountain.
Well, the mountain's not associated with Teclis.
Right. Well, Selenar is associated with Teclis,
right,
who's on his base.
Selenar is the moon.
Right.
Whereas Tyrion's more associated with the realm itself, which would be the fire dragon, the dragon phoenix. Right. Yeah,
well,
technically there's the water.
He would come with that new temple.
No, there's the new water temple, and there's no, because it's like in the Warcry, but there's no beast for it. We don't necessarily need a beast for this stuff.
It's not my fault they forgot to release it.
I know, yeah, probably.
That's probably what that spider was. It's a water spider. You heard it here first.
Yeah.
And then again, for the Umberness side, you still have all your daughters. So like you add Malarian as a big evil shadow dragon elf guy.
You get some dragon riders for him.
You either get dragon riders or again, I know they've kind of changed the lore, and I hope they decided to go back and revert it, because whenever Age of Sigmar first came out, they did talk about him merging with his dragon.
Well, no, they've already kind of sort of like that happened, but that
I
was
know
just
they
power.
retconned it.
Well, like it's not that it didn't happen, but it's just not. It doesn't matter. Like there's things where
Right.
he's just a shadow on a wall talking to Marathi. Like he is shadow
But
itself, so he can transform.
the reason why I want that is because even I would have a hard time resisting shadow black dragon elves.
Oh sure, yeah.
And so there you can do, kind of like the executioner.
Yeah, get us a brand new, not executioner. I'd say get us a brand new, essentially like a blackguard style thing.
Yeah.
Obviously, you have a new name or something, make it more AOE
Get something like
fancier.
that. Get some either get, like I said, some more. Do you remember the dragon kin in World of Warcraft?
Yeah, yeah,
The ones that had like they're like centaur dragons.
yep.
If you could do something like that, so where you have like the mirror of your Melusai,
Yeah,
being like shadow dragon plus elf, like
yeah. It'd be so good. It'd be so good.
But yeah. So anyway, so with the Chaos Dwarves, the only thing else I've heard is that they are supposed to have like a they're like kind of going to be the clockwork version of steampunk.
Okay.
And it's going to be like more the theme is going to be more out of the realms of like the Conan universe, not necessarily the movies, but the books.
Okay.
So Hyboria.
Yeah.
And whenever I heard that, I was like, yeah, I was already going to buy it. You don't have to sell me on it. Like,
Sell me twice.
So I do expect a Bull Taurus. I do expect the giant metallic fire monster from Total War.
Yeah.
I do expect there to still be artillery. I expect the train to still be there.
We need a train piece, don't you?
Right. Oh my gosh. If we can have like the first mobile terrain piece and it's just the train, that'd be amazing. I hope they kind of separate themselves from the forced labor aspect in the army. We know in the lore that it's not necessarily too different.
Well, I mean, there's the Hobgrots, which are with Cruel Boys. So hopefully they allow you to take those.
Yeah.
That's fine, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
No one likes them anyway. Get a use for them.
I mean, again, it'd be exactly like Noblars with ogres.
Yeah.
I just like right now, like as someone that's working on them for Old World, my list is the unit of Chaos Dwarves I'm being forced to take, a sorcerer on a Bull Taurus, and a unit of Bull Centaurs. Everything else is orcs and goblins.
I still disagree with the fact that you're trying to bring a Black Orc war boss on Wyvern. I don't think that would ever
You're
happen.
allowed.
I know. I don't think you should be. Just from lore.
You're allowed.
Not from power.
Well, see, you don't understand. The Chaos Dwarves gave it to him because he listened the best. And so if he flies away too far, the Wyvern's going to disappear. At least that's what they tell him.
That's what they tell everybody because the orcs believe it. It's like 40K.
Right. They're like, oh, if you get too far away from us, the Wyvern's going to just disappear and you're going to fall. And I was like, oh, I better stay near. But yeah, so that is all the dwarf news at this point.
It's a lot of dwarf news.
Yeah, we got it really backed up here. So yeah, just to recap as of right now. Oh, also just cap an AOS as of right now. Fire Slayers are at the absolute bottom. I think they have like between a 35 and 40% win rate.
Okay.
KO used to be doing fine, but with the new GHB,
oh, they're not shooting a damn thing. Yeah, they're in trouble this edition.
Yeah, so I expect 6 months from now them to be at the bottom.
Yeah, and Fire Slayers go up maybe a little bit. I don't.
Just because of how bad KO's doing.
Yes.
I expect to see the new errata. I expect to see dwarves doing very well in Old World now.
Yes.
They have very strong infantry, and that's always kind of been their thing. Is like, we don't need monsters because our core is so good.
Yeah.
But with the infantry rules, it really kind of kneecapped them, and so now it's going to be, let's go.
Yeah. Dwarves are gonna be. I'm not gonna surprise me. And we've seen dwarves win events before, but I think we're gonna see dwarves win events by being dwarves.
Yeah.
Like not line hammer, not infinite amount of troll hammer torpedoes, which got a nerf anyway. So,
Like, I
didn't think
that.
I didn't think they needed to do that. I thought that I was like, that's yeah.
I was like, look, as someone that relied heavily on them at ABB, they did not do any work. All right.
Yeah. I if they were just like, hey, it's reduced in strength, but you're still dwarf craft, I'd be like, all right, you're still limiting on 5, but like, no, you had to drop it and make it cumbersome. Like, that's a little much.
Right. And I'm like, and on top of that, I'm like,
okay, JTY clearly has a dwarf player in his local meta. That's what's going on there.
I literally have one model that's not a hero in my entire army that has a ballistic skill of 5, which, of course, in an elf book is like, you don't have a ballistic score of 5?
Oh, you must be core.
They have to screw him into the ground.
Oh.
Yeah, that's all the news I got. You got any dwarf news you heard about?
No, actually, because you're my dwarf news outlet. I'm just right now excited for dwarfs coming on the tabletop. Like, I want to build lists with them right now. I've not taken the time to learn the runes in Old World, but like, I'm gonna play around with lists for it, probably even tonight. That's
one of the nice things is like the runes are basically what you would expect.
Yeah.
And then there's a couple special ones, and you already know those, and those are the ones you're going to take.
Banner of Hesitation, baby, all the way.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I mean, if I didn't have that, how long do you think our game would have lasted?
Not long.
Like 2 rounds?
Yeah, probably 2 rounds. Instead of the whole round, a whole game. And that was with me magicking off half of it. Jeez, yeah.
Yeah. Again, that was it was an interesting experience.
It's the most frustrating but most dwarfy army I've ever fought. I loved it.
One of the things I was like, okay, I keep losing because I keep trying to play with like a dwarf. Let's just play like a
tournament gamer.
I don't know how.
Tournament gamer.
I was saying a knuckle dragging mouth breather. I was like, I have quarrelers. What should I do with them? Well, you should probably keep them back and shoot at things. I'm like, hasn't worked in the past. Charge.
Caught me off guard.
And so what's interesting is what honestly made it better was the simple fact that they had great weapons.
Yeah.
So at that point, they're just chaos. They're just dwarf warriors with great weapons and a crossbow.
Yeah.
So if I don't charge you, I get to shoot at you still.
Yeah, that's the best part of dwarfs. Like, oh, I'm in combat. I'm still a dwarf. Like that's the best part. Like it's like 100%. It's like, oh, what are you? Like weapon skill 5, toughness 4. Well, shit, that's a lot to get through sometimes, depending on your army and what you're doing.
Yeah, like I said, I think at this point, the only thing I would like to see, which I think is asking too much, so I don't expect to see it, is I would love to see them get like an additional army rule of just like stout-hearted or strong back or something, where essentially they don't get strike last whenever they use a great weapon.
And
again, the only thing about that is their initiative 2. So all I'm asking for is +1 initiative with a great weapon.
You know what? I would say even it would be neat if they got +1 initiative on the charge with a great weapon.
Yeah,
make
cool.
it so you have to think about when you want to do it.
Yeah.
Like I don't, not native. Make it, that'd be interesting, and I wouldn't. It'd be fine. Put you on par with everything almost. Like sure, elves are still gonna swing first, but that's fine.
Oh, I charged into elves. Aha! We strike at the same time.
Nah, you'll never strike same time as Nell. You put as many buffs as you
Well, if
want,
they
you will
got-
get there.
If they didn't get strike last and they got +1 initiative, that would put them at a 6.
Right, I think I started at 6, and first round of combat I get +1.
Of course you do.
See? Yeah, L's, baby. But no, this was good.
How many pages is your special army rule section?
I don't remember.
It's like 4.
Yeah. It's pretty art, though.
I get half a page and no art. It's just blank.
Listen, it doesn't matter because in the next couple months we're just all gonna be getting steamrolled by Grand Cathay because I've heard some things from some people who've played them early. Oh boy. And we've looked at the Arcane Journal. We're gonna do an Arcane Journal full review soon. Yeah.
Doesn't surprise me in the least.
Well, I think it wasn't necessarily intentionally made to be like a broken army, but it's such a limited roster that each thing has to do so many different things. Like each unit has to serve multiple roles.
What would you add to it if you could? If you had to add a unit?
Right now, I would add a unit of archers, like kind of like archers or thunderers, essentially of that variety. Either like long range, just shots, or short range but shots with higher strength and maybe like some armor bane on it.
Yeah, I mean, like I was looking at it. Do they have cavalry?
They do. They have Jade Lancers.
Yeah.
Who get
I'm like
fight an extra rank with their lances.
Great.
Yeah.
I'm glad they got that.
I know. I was gonna do 2 units of 5, and I read that. I'm like, cool. Unit of 10. Here we go.
Yeah, go up to 12. That way you get 3 units of 3 or 4.
I would, but they come in units of 10.
I'm surprised they don't let them also take the lance formation. Why not?
Yeah, why not? Yeah. They've reversed lance formation, so you're. I don't know. I'm looking forward to it, but yes, great. I'm glad we had the Big M takeover today.
Yeah.
I'll have to think of a nice thumbnail for this episode, and if you've watched this, you've already seen it. But no, thanks for updating us on the dwarf news. Like we need it. There's been a lot of elf talk around here for the past year.
It's been real hard. Real hard.
Matt's gonna listen to this episode of himself over and over again whenever he needs it.
Gonna put it on repeat, baby.
Yeah, there we go. All right. Anything else to close it out, Matt?
Yeah. Show GW how much you like dwarves. Like and subscribe. Watch it twice. Send it to your friends. Hell, mute it and put it on the background. Just get that view count up.
Goodbye.